He's in there for.
I think they should make it.
You're the number one on the list.
Here I'm a 24-year-old gay guy, 36-year-old friend down the street got AIDS. He can't get any insurance, he can't afford it, so little baby's married, so he has insurance. Also, are covered dependent children. Does the covered dependent children spouse? Can you have dependent children and have a spouse? So if you're on daddy's insurance at 21, same-sex partner,
And I
put them
think
on mom, dad's insurance.
their spouse.
Oh, no, once they get married, it's all.
Yeah. Unmarried dependent children. Right, unmarried.
Right, unmarried.
Married dependent children is one.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're not spouses.
Am I right?
Jim,
Look at that age.
a child under 26 years old, are their spouses covered under their parents' policy?
The spouses, no.
Can you be a dependent child and be married?
But you can be a dependent
You can be, if you're married, you can be a dependent on your parents' policy, but the spouse can't.
Cannot.
And then as far as grandkids and all that, it goes back to the rule of you claim them on income tax or they owe.
Right, you gotta claim them.
Unless there's a court order.
Yeah.
But the spouse.
That doesn't mean parents get insurance policy, the child in a situation, the insurance company is not gonna do that. So there's pressure on that insurance.
See, that's encouragement for your child. Married.
Especially for the same sex.
No, I'm just saying, you need to marry.
You need to marry.
Mom and dad can construct that one a little bit better, but same sex?
We're talking same sex.
You're going off down those trucks. Mark, you ready?
She has better taste. Is that on the situation? Where do you want to be?
We'll call the meeting to order, Young County Commissioners Court. Monday, June the 29th, 2015, it's about 9:40 a.m. Make note that this meeting is posted in the manner and for the time required, that all members of the court are present. If it's convenient, please stand and give provided their invocation and our pledges.
Mr. President, dear Father, we thank you for this day, Father, we thank you for this opportunity to go over these
the books, Father. We just ask, Father, for your guidance and direction in all we say and all we do. We ask for wisdom, Father. Father, we just ask, Lord, that you continue being with those around us, all for loved ones, Father. Father, we want to thank you again for the rain that you sent our way. Father, we just pray for a little bit more. Lord, we just ask you to just go with us and guide and direct us. That's all in Jesus' name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, please be seated. Number 3, public comments, announcements, presentations, no action items. I don't have any listed. Is there any known by the board?
Judge,
Yeah.
I was just gonna let the Commissioners Court, Commissioner's office and all that trailers have been approved, ready for delivery for the sign, so whatever you wanna get.
Can I come get it whenever I need to?
Sir,
Can I come get it?
you can come get it, we can deliver it to y'all, whichever.
Okay.
Just
Thank you
we'll
very
get
much.
together after that and we'll.
What the sheriff's referring to is the sign that will make traffic control devices put on the road, so during these emergencies like we had last time, we'll know where they're all at, they're all centrally located, but the sheriff's office needs to get them, they can. You know, basically, we have to do, we'll keep it precinct 1 yard, so barriers, cones, all that kind of devices will be on this trailer, rather than stored in the locked up building.
Additionally, barriers, cones.
Barriers, cones, blinking lights, flags, whatever it takes to control traffic, keep them out of high water, keep them out of culvert that may be washed out, a bridge that may be unsafe.
And that is located where?
Yeah, precinct 1 yard.
Is that a community thing?
Well, yeah, since the trailer is at a no-cost item, I'm gonna buy the barricades out of my budget, so yeah, we share it with all the precincts. If you need them here at the courthouse also, we're happy to share them with you, yes, sir.
Very good.
We already told the sheriff's office they can use it.
We also have two 20-foot guardrails that were back there in that yard that were also released as well, so.
We'll get those out of your way and bring them out of the yard too, put them there.
Thank y'all very much.
Jim, come up here, just give us a little dissertation here about this. This is just for our record.
Okay.
Is that what that is? or-
Yes, sir, this is just for your records, this is the disposition of property, the destruction order signed by the judge, Judge Dow, saying that it was okay to release that property and dispose of it. So this is ordering us to dispose of the property, and it's been said that we can, it's for use by the Young County Sheriff's Office, so we can issue it to the county.
This is some of what you're talking about?
This is not
Exactly.
This is the trailer they ran through, I guess, a sheriff's sale of some sort that you
It hasn't been through a sale, it's just, it was.
Okay, just released by.
Yes, being held in the Rankin County Yard,
Okay.
as well as the two guardrails. They're all,
Very good.
Trailer's how long?
12 to 14.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, item number 4, consider county clerk's minutes for previous meetings, June 22nd, 2015. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Rogers, to accept those minutes as presented. All in favor? Aye. Aye, vote. Item number 5, county treasurer, financial.
I have given you May's numbers. We're getting a little tight on the money in June's cash position. We have $450,000 left in the treasurer's account. But we should be getting a little more money in, and we have $700,000 in our money market. The precincts look fine. We have plenty of money to give the last quarter for the precincts. So we're doing okay. We're right there in our budget numbers, but hopefully we don't have any big ticket items that come through.
But May's all balanced.
Is there any discussion with regard to the treasurer's financial report?
That's May, I think they did copy of June.
Are we, what are we at over percentage?
Percentages. Well, in the taxes, we've already collected 100%, 102% of the taxes.
102%.
Yeah, of what we budgeted.
Pretty good.
But we hopefully will be getting a little more money in.
Yeah.
This is cash.
We just had a lot of expenses.
So moved.
Did you second that? We have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, and a second by Commissioner Rogers to accept the financial report as presented by our treasurer. All in favor? Carried. Item number 6, consider officers' amendments, and vouchers payable.
About vouchers payable.
No amendments? Very good.
Okay. Total today, $36,998.02. And of that, out of the general fund is $36,137.16. Most of the expenses were there.
For what?
We're out of the general, not precinct.
Okay.
We have a motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Wiley to approve the vouchers payable as presented. All in favor? Carried. Item number 7, consider employee bonds. Michelle McClanahan, Secretary, Texas Agricultural Extension Office, $5,000 bond.
I move we approve that bond.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sipes, second by Commissioner Wiley to approve that bond as presented. All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, discuss, consider lease, amendment to the lease agreement with the city of Graham regarding Young County Arena, and that's the property on Young County Arena. You'll have in your packet a release from that agreement on the 5.89 acres, or 98 acres, the way it is.
So that was county property that we had leased to the city?
Yes.
Yes.
So in order to do what we did last time, give it
Well,
to
it
the
had-
school, we had to get out of the lease with
Well, it
the city.
just make the process, the transfer clean, because they're still under that lease obligation with the lease running, and the property's going to the school.
So in order for us to properly give it to the school, we had to release that property from the lease of the city.
Yeah. And there was a few more tenths of an acre that were leased because of that. Well, there was a oil well site location that was right in the corner of that amounted to 2 or 3 tenths or 4 tenths of an acre, something like that.
So this cleans up the agreement that we made.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with transfer of property right now, it just released them from that also. So that's why it's 5.98 acres released rather than the 5.613. So Kerwin, the city attorney, Kerwin Stevens drew this up. And if you look it over and if you don't have any problems with it, a motion to execute that release would be in line.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wiley and a second by Commissioner Sipes to execute, authorize the execution of the release from the properties held by lease, or a portion of that, by the city of Graham, affecting the transfer of property to this GI estate. All in favor? Carried. Item number 9, discuss, consider presentation from Brinson Benefits Health Insurance Management, Rebecca Bell Reynolds. I got a call a couple of weeks ago, talking about health insurance and saving money. I said, we're right now just in that process. She wanted to make the presentation, so Cheryl and I and Marcia and Stacy sat in on a couple of meetings that we've had, and we thought it's best that she may summarize her visit with us and give a full presentation. The map.
Good morning. Good to be here. So like the judge said, I randomly called him about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I couldn't believe it when he picked the phone up. It was like a live voice, and it's the judge. Anyway, I asked him about the county's health insurance and if everything was running well with you all. And he said, we'd be open to talking to somebody. I let him know that I work with a lot of counties and cities on controlling their health plan costs, bringing strategies to the table. So we have spent time together over the last few weeks. And what I discovered during my time here was that you guys have been self-funded for a long time, which I think is great. I'm a huge proponent of self-funding. I'm not a huge proponent of what we call a bundled approach, if you will. So the way you currently have your benefits, you're all rolled up in group resources as your third-party administrator, and they have your pharmacy benefit. Your pharmacy benefit is direct with group. They also shop your reinsurance. And what I love about self-funding is that you can control the pieces and parts of it. When you are fully insured, you no longer have any control. You're really at the mercy of the carrier, and you're paying a premium, and you're paying it in advance. When you're self-funded, you're paying the claims as they come in, and there are parts that you can control. So what I did was I consulted a pharmacy consultant. Typically where we find a lot of holes and exposure is with pharmacy. And you will have that. You have a lot of holes and exposure. So what I was able to find out is that the county will save breaking out the pieces of your pharmacy and having a direct contract with a pharmacy benefit manager. There's 4 or 5 different ones that we work with, but your contract now, your prescription contract is fully written to save you all money. And your reinsurance, quite frankly, there's some adjustments that we would make there. Now, I'm hesitant to go into all of my solutions for you all today because your incumbent is here. So I'm happy to go into a private workshop or an executive session to discuss personnel matters or county finances. But I can tell you, let me just show you a couple things. One of the things that I found out whenever I was here is that your HR department is spending a lot of time recovering claims and kind of battling on your employees' behalf. And one of those reasons is because your plan document also had a significant piece left out of it called the RAP provision, which is where if you go to the hospital or you go to an in-network provider, but you have a radiology, anesthesiology, pathology, or an emergency room physician treat you the way your plan is currently written, it's just paid out of network, and that's ridiculous. And there should have been a RAP provision. It should have been reviewed, and it should have been in your plan document. And I brought a copy the last time I was here of what that would look like. That would say Marcia lifetime. But we also have a service that does that for you all. I'll just pass these out like this. And it's called Purple Card. And it's a patient advocacy and auditing program, okay? And it's all HIPAA protected. We never let the county know who calls, but we report to you on a quarterly basis how many calls our office has received and how many dollars we've recovered on behalf of the county and or the employees. So if you'll just open it up, if you don't mind, to page 3, right in the middle. This is an actual sample report, if you will, of a client that I have. It's a government client. It's another county. They're about your size, a little bit bigger. But you'll see from January 1 of 14 to 12/31 of 14, our office actually took, yes, you had 65, now you had a rolling 12, I think, so your number's a little larger. But you'll see that we show you per employer how many calls we took, the claims that we audited, and the claims that we recovered. And also on our book of business, how many calls we took, which was about 20,000 calls. We audited and recovered on our book of business about 1.7 million. So it's not uncommon to hear, well, we have someone who does that for us, we have someone that helps us with that kind of thing. But my question would be, what proof do you have? How are they showing your work? I think that's important. So with this service, as part of what we do in advising the county, is we roll out Purple Card, and we can do it one of two ways. We can roll it out to your employees at true open enrollment meetings where we come on site. We talk to all of your employees. We're used to working with sheriff's departments and swinging hours like that. So typically with a group your size, we'll be here 2 to 3 days to make sure that we talk to everybody. But we can roll this Purple Card out to them individually so that they can have it. I mean, Marcia does a great job, and maybe everybody would love to still go to Marcia, but quite frankly, maybe you have something embarrassing wrong with you. Maybe you don't want to tell Marcia what you were just in the hospital for. I don't know. If that's the case, the employees can have the Purple Card, or you may elect to just let this be a support to Marcia, almost like an admin assistant, if you will. Employees still call Marcia, but then Marcia calls Purple Card. Okay? That's up to you as a county to decide how you want to administer it. But it is a great tool when we're negotiating with reinsurance carriers at your renewal, because then we know the exact dollar amounts for the county.
So
right?
teledoc is part of this program?
So let's talk about that. Two of the things that I noticed was how to control costs, right? Whenever I talked to the judge and Cheryl and Marcia and Commissioner Rogers, their main concern was how do you control the cost of health plan? Well, the way that you all are right now, you are bundled with group resources. You actually have very little control. Your pharmacy contract is not even with the county, it's with group resources, and they're getting paid per script, a back end, okay? A back end fee per script. So I said, let's break out the reinsurance, let's roll out Purple Card, and let's introduce teledoc, okay? So the wonderful thing about teledoc is that it does cost you $4 per employee per month, but it covers every member of your family in your home. Now, my dad died a couple of years ago, and my mom comes during the holidays to stay with me. My mom she got a scalp condition when she was here last year. But anyway, I called Teladoc and I said, my mom's not on the plan, but she's staying with me for a month, and she didn't have a doctor down here. She's got this dermatitis thing going on. Would y'all be willing to help me? And they gave me a script. So, it's an excellent service. These doctors are available 24/7. You can, like I said, have all of your members on it, even if they're not on the health plan. And the doctors do everything from writing prescriptions for things like antibiotics. Okay? They're not going to write a prescription for Prozac or Xanax.
Why don't you got a sore throat, you can call them, say, I need some months.
Yes. Z-Packs, allergies. But, and I shared this with a judge, I think, and Cheryl and Marcia. This service really got me when, about 5 years ago, we had just started using this service at Brinson ourselves, and we were rolling it out to our clients. And I could see the beauty in it because, quite frankly, I hate to go to the doctor. I mean, I have to be sick as a dog before you get me to the doctor. So I thought, well, if I ever get sick, I'll definitely use it. But my 16-year-old stepson come to live with us. My husband and I just got married. 2 weeks later, he came, which is great, no problem. But I don't have any children, never have. And I'm a 16-year-old, big, healthy-looking boy. But within 2 weeks of him living with us, he started telling me that his feet felt numb and that they were tingling. And I just thought, well, does it hurt? No. You walking okay? Yes, ma'am. I said, well, maybe you just pinched a nerve. I'm sure you're... Let's just keep an eye on it. That's what a doctor would say, right? Just keep an eye on it. If it gets any worse, bring him back. So, 2 days later, he said, you know that feeling I was telling you about? He said, it's like from my knees down. He said, I can't feel anything. You walking okay? Yeah. Does it hurt? No. I said, well, if it's not better by the weekend, we'll do something. So on Friday afternoon, when he got off from school, he said, it's my entire legs. And I said, okay, clearly you're going numb to your head. We probably need to take you somewhere. I said, I'm going to call this Teladoc. I don't want a prescription, right? I figure it's not a prescription. But I want to know, I want to talk to a doctor and see, do you think I should take him to a doctor? Do you think I should take him to a specialist? What should I do? I got a lady doctor on the phone, and this is highly unusual. I broke my neck in 2003 riding horses, and my neurosurgeon didn't spend this much time with me. But she stayed on the phone with me for 45 minutes. She asked me a million questions. I'll never forget. My husband was driving. He's like, you know, he just was getting more concerned, you know, like, shouldn't this be a quick phone call? I was answering all of her questions. At the end of that phone call, she said, you know, you need to take him to the emergency room tonight. And I said, why? She said, they're going to want to rule out West Nile virus, mad cow disease, and multiple sclerosis. And I said, are you kidding me? She said, no. And then she said, these are the tests they'll do. She started at the beginning. Gave me this, you know, she said, based on how this comes back, they'll do this. Based on how this comes back, they'll do this. And we took him that night, and they kept him overnight. Every time they come back for, you know, we got to do this test, we got to do this. I said, this is what the doctor said, this is what the doctor said. And the next morning, we had a definitive diagnosis of MS. Now, that's huge because what I found out, we joined a parental support group for kids with MS. And those parents told us that it took them 2 and one lady almost 3 years, and her kid underwent a brain biopsy on a lesion that wasn't necessary to get a diagnosis of MS for kids. So I love the service. And when my dad got lung cancer, he wasn't on this, but I call and talk to a doctor and say, you know, that doctor's recommended we do this or that. What do you think? It's free. Why not call them? So, in terms of saving the plan money, I'm sorry I got into a long story, but
So you're saving the patient's copay.
You're saving the patient, you're saving the
That's costing
police.
$4. It's also the cost of the county. It's $4 per person per month.
And
Per
every,
employee. Per employee.
per employee, that's right. And bottom line savings comes right back to the health plan, right? So if your employee goes to, they ask them before they hang out, now, if you hadn't had this service, where would you have gone? For example, here, 18 people said, well, I'd have gone to my doctor, 21 said I would have gone to urgent care, but if you quantify that, that can be a substantial savings on your plan, especially once your people get used to it.
So the employees have the option to get there or not, or, you know what I'm saying?
Is it 100% or zero? I mean, does everybody have to sign
Like, if
up?
I wanted my general, doesn't, then I pay my $4.
For $4, Teladoc wants everybody on
Okay.
it.
But that's all I'm asking, yeah.
Yeah, for the $4, they want everybody, because that's cheap.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Are you not encouraging hypochondria?
Well, I think if you have hypochondria, you probably have it, but one thing for sure, if you do have it, it'll be a lot cheaper this way.
I understand. You wake up in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, going, oh my God, I'm having an
Yeah.
aneurysm, and call them and
You
they'll
can,
talk to
you can.
them. 24/7.
Yes, 24/7. And another
It's
thing.
in a small town, we usually call the
the law-
doctor, the nurse.
Yeah,
That's who gets everything done.
yeah. Does she call you in a script or?
You gotta go see them.
we have to go-
Never mind. I'm not saying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe some not. But
So the script's about the same as what they would be.
you'll just use your insurance for that. But, I really want to take a really good look at your PBM contract. Not to take anything away from the employees, but just to make sure that we're getting all the rebates that we should have and to make sure there's not any exposure in the plan.
So
And-
you had this mess of this network doctors, and you had to contact any network doctor use,
For this?
not for anything.
Oh. Well,
People
Let's
listen.
say-
you do, you do, but here's the deal, here's something else that I noticed. You've been with the same TPA for 15 years, 16, 17 years, and you're renting a PPO network right now through HealthSmart. So why haven't we shopped the TPA? HealthSmart is a TPA. Why haven't we shopped HealthSmart to see what their admin fees were being and use their own PPO where we wouldn't be renting it now? Why are we not shopping that? Why are we not breaking out the PBM? Why are we not using alternative means like Teladoc? Why do we not have medical price shopping? We do that also. So here's another great story. Back to Tanner and the EMS.
So this is a large benefit management program.
Yes, it is. Full scale. We, let's say you have to get an MRI. Well, I can tell you if you get an MRI at Children's Hospital in Dallas, it's $2,300. But if you call Purple Card and you give them your diagnosis code, Tarrant Radiology for that same MRI is $760. So that's huge.
Like you pay cash for it.
Sorry.
It's basically like if you pay cash for it.
They have your insurance. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah,
You charge the insurance?
yeah,
Under self-insurance, that would save us $1,500.
yes, sir.
So like I had a knee problem, I had a MRI out here, and it was $1,700 for it, and I just paid cash for it, it's like $300. So y'all would fix that.
That's the thing about self-insurance, like I told the judge, you don't need to go fully insured. You don't. You need to stay self-insured, but you need
But
some,
we need some sort of control over
because everything's coming out of your fund, your
budget,
pocket.
on and on and on.
For the last 2 or 3 years, we've been leaning and moving towards the idea of trying to get out self-insured business to get back into the fully insured business. Your presentation and your philosophy is that you think we're better off as a self-insured entity.
And controlling your costs.
She's actually somewhere in between.
I'm about what you can control and what you can't. And when you are fully insured, do you know how many fully insured people, clients or prospects say to me, what can we do to lower our costs? Can we do a wellness program? Well, yeah, you can do a wellness program, and that's a long-term strategy, right? When you're self-insured, you can look at your pharmacy right now.
Texas County,
You're performing this service around the counties.
I work with about 8. I believe my firm has 13.
in Texas.
Okay. you this, that, one of our self-insured clients is, now they're large, 800 people. But they had kind of the same thing that you all have going on right now. In the first year, we saved $1 million. They've never been able to build reserves, never. And now, going into our fourth year, they're, yes, for their first time.
Who is Brinson business?
We're a full-scale employee benefit advisory firm out of Dallas. But, don't kill me, we have Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, and I live in Weatherford personally. And I don't go to Dallas unless they make me.
But I can see where you had urgent care clinics. That's an urgent thing. We don't have that here.
Yeah.
You had emergency room with a doctor's office.
Yeah, well, then you're really in bad shape because you're kind of got either all or nothing at all. If you can't get in the doctor, you gotta go to the emergency room. And when you go to the emergency room, you're looking at $1,500 for sure. That somebody's paying, whether it's your employees or your.
Whether there's anything seriously wrong.
Yeah, and the judge and Cheryl, I've given it to them. So they
Okay,
know.
just sure it's up.
They should. Yeah. You got any other questions for me that I can? Yeah. Well, I'm passionate about it, truly. I mean, but truly, self-insurance is, trust me, you're not in bad shape. It just isn't the choice.
But when you've got an older group,
Well, most
They're
counties
sick.
do. Most counties do.
and, you know,
They
invariably
say-
you've got one or two cases that got.
Yeah. And so you can't control your claims, right? You can't control all your claims. But I am a proponent of controlling what you can. Because what you can control can make a significant impact, especially when you're the most painless.
You know, there's a lot of people, when the loved one gets sick, they, no holds barred, all the money we can throw at it. I don't care.
Well, I would be that way. I was that way with my dad. I mean, if I had to take my dad, I would have done anything in the world to save my dad. But, you know, I used the service that I was a frequent flyer to try to find out things. But also, to your point, if you're really sick, something else with Tanner, I know that you've been through this too, you get bills from, you get $25 bills, balance due. You get $200 bills, balance due. You think, what?
People you've never seen before.
I was in the hospital during that time, I guess I owe it. Well, I'll tell you about 40% of the time, you probably don't know it. So we audit it for you. And we advocate on behalf of the employees, and you negotiate with the providers for employees.
So before you go to the doctor with some sort of illness, sickness, symptom, whatever, you should call Teladoc and find out whether that's something you really need to do.
I would. I mean, I'm about using my resources, and I hate to go to the doctor. I'm on the road so much. I call, well, I'll tell you what, a couple weeks ago, I've got a lot of clients in East Texas, and I was out there, and I was having breakfast at Cracker Barrel. My eye was bothering me so bad. I mean, it felt like that there was a knife sticking in my eye. Water, it was red. And I called Teladoc while I was sitting right there having breakfast, and he called me in an antibiotic drop for my eye. When I got out of my meeting, I drove right over to Walgreens and got my eye drops.
One of the next things I'm gonna ask you about how fast it's, they just call it into that doctor.
They call in quick, and right here's your average callback times. Let me see here. Yeah, average callback, 12 minutes, 26 minutes, 21 minutes, 10 minutes. You know, I haven't had to wait typically more than 10 minutes ever.
So in order for a benefit management program to work, you gotta have members who want their benefits to be met.
Well, you've got to have leadership that wants to control the cost of their plan, because certainly I could come in
So there's
here.
some education progress involved in it.
Yes, sir. And I certainly am not proposing, oh, you know what, I can save you a ton of money. We'll put in a $5,000 HSA, and you guys will save a ton of money, because that would bankrupt your employees, and they could never afford it, and they wouldn't understand it. So I'm not talking about changing your plan. Okay, I'm not talking about changing your plan. I'm just talking about plugging some holes where we have some money leaking and actually vaccines, employee invisible management of the plan that they don't see or know.
I have a question. So if you call the doctor and you just tell them they're just automatically gonna give you antibiotics? I mean, what if there's no question about what's wrong
Yeah,
with
so
you?
that's a great question. So before that they'll talk to you, and I guess I should have probably told y'all this, you have to, it's just like going to the doctor for the first time. So you can either call and register with them, or you can do it online.
And they just believe that whatever you say your symptoms are, they go ahead and prescribe something for you just on your word?
Well, if you are allergic to something, I would think that you would tell them, but if you're not, and you don't know, I don't know if an antibiotic, I don't know if that's ever killed anyone, maybe, but I can tell you that in the 15 years or so that Teladoc has been alive and well here, they've never had a lawsuit.
For that 45-minute questionnaire that she filled out on her stepson over the phone is what you will go through. And they will put it in that questionnaire, and that program that they're working with is going to give them possible scenarios for what's wrong with you. And if they can't come up with a definite something, they're going to suggest you go to the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, right, so they're liable. So,
I mean,
they're not
take
going,
the liability,
Yes.
not the
Because they
county.
do
No,
antibiotics,
no.
but they don't do like pain pills.
yeah, you're not getting, they're not
Antibiotics.
going to give you high blood pressure medicine, they're not going to treat your diabetes.
Just an emergency.
Simple.
They're going to give you a Cipro or a
Sinus
amoxicillin. I
Even
mean,
with you, they gave you 3 different diagnoses over the phone.
the possibilities for Tanner, yeah. And I knew I wasn't calling for a prescription then. I mean, I knew, I just wanted a doctor to talk to me and tell me, what do I do with this kid? But I've used them for, one time, I called them for a urinary tract infection, I'll just tell y'all. I knew I had it. And that doctor, I mean, typically, I would expect the doctor to say, well, you could go pick up some Cipro. And I told him Cipro worked, but he said, you know what? He said, well, from what you're telling me, I think it's worse than what you think it is. I think it's in your kidneys. And I think you probably need a longer round of antibiotics. And he said, I just don't feel comfortable putting a Band-Aid on it. He said, so I want you to go to the doctor. And I was hurting so dang bad, I went to the doctor. And when the doctor came in, he had my urine and it looked like milk. He said, this is the worst I've ever seen. How long have you felt bad? And I said, well, it's just gotten worse, but it's about 2 weeks. He said, your temperature's, and he said, it is in your kidneys. So then I was grateful, right? That he made me go.
Does Teladoc have access to your information?
I don't know if I don't have a doctor, so I don't know if my doctor would share with them, but they'll ask you, do you want us to send this to your doctor?
When you sign up, are you giving them access to your medical?
No, I don't believe so, because they can't go to my doctor and access my health records. But they do ask, if you have a medical doctor, would you like for us to send this phone call information to your doctor? Because I know some people, I have some friends that, they always have it sent, but I'm not a
Well, you should
frequent
always
flyer.
have it sent to your.
You should, I know, I need to go to the doctor. I need to go right now.
You have time.
That's my problem, I never have time. But, so that was an alternative that I brought, the medical price shopping, being able to call Purple Card and say, hey, I've got to give them an MRI, I've got to get a CAT scan, this is where I live, give them the zip code, have them shop it for you guys. Because that'll help the plan. And on-site open enrollment meetings, right? We'll come on site. We provide the materials. We talk to all your employees. We also provide you at no charge an employee benefit web portal. So the spouses at home that really get into all the insurance because you guys just go and say, well, we had our insurance still at work and I don't know, but here it is, right?
Yeah, you're not gonna say no.
So your spouses at home can go to Young County webpage portal and they can pull up plan documents, time off request, whatever you guys give to us to put on there. Employee handbook.
Okay, Matt, would you kind of explain how you receive your compensation?
Oh, how much does it cost? So we'll just do it, we can do it one of 2 ways. I was telling the judge and Cheryl and Marcia, in my opinion, once again, I like to control expense. I like to see expense. So the way that we would propose to be compensated is to remove commissions from all lines of coverage and just pay us a flat consulting fee. Right now, you're paying your agent, I don't know, somewhere between $35,000, something like that. And I don't know about the other lines of coverage, I just know on the reinsurance. Also, your third-party administrator is getting a commission on that. My proposal would be, if you guys, if that's complicated for y'all, we can take over as agent of record, it'll be cost neutral. It'll be exactly the same as it is now, but you'll have someone different on your team. If we don't perform, if we don't bring you at least enough cost savings at your renewal for the fee that we're being paid, then you don't have to pay us a dime. My question to you would be, after several years of a good relationship, can you make a hard decision? Because I do know that's tough.
Well, it can't be an immediate decision for parties and thoughts. You know, our relationship has been good, and there probably some other alternatives out there. We always our constituents to investigate every one of them.
If I've done nothing but make you aware, then I feel like I've done my job.
So all of our doctors within this area are in the network.
We don't.
I'm not talking about changing your plan right now, but I'm saying what I would propose, because we're right here at your renewal. So you got to trust in somebody that you feel like can carry that ball across the finish line at your renewal to bring you the best deal. I don't recommend changing your TPA this year or even evaluating it, but I would highly recommend next year that you do a full-scale TPA evaluation along with PPO network, because that's something else you can control.
Right now, we don't really see that cost because it's
It's baked in.
included fixed in our.
It's baked into the premium.
In our fixed cost.
So it would just be reduced.
You're saying you could do it that way, or what you normally do is just a straight consulting fee, and
That's what I like to do. Now, if you're not comfortable, this is my philosophy. If you get a 5% increase or a 10% increase, I don't believe I deserve a raise. But that's exactly what I would get. Your rate goes up, I get a raise. That's what it is now. I would say, remove it all out, you pay me a fixed cost no matter what happens, and I'm paid strictly on performance. And if you ever feel like I'm not performing well for you, I haven't brought to the table what I said I would bring to the table, and you give me 60 days notice and I'm out the door.
How often are these administrative fees revisited?
Great question. I don't think we've raised an administrative fee on any of our counties in 4 years. But I would tell you, with you all, I'd want it revisited next year, because what we're bringing to the table is we're going to save you so much more than what you've got right now, and we're going to bring you so many more services than what you're getting right now. I think it would be fair to ask for 3% next year if we perform well. If we perform well, my goodness, I mean, we're about to bring you, we're going to work for you, and we're going to bring you savings, I can promise you that.
Because if they had 3%, we think they're not worth it, we're not giving it to them.
That's right.
You know, this is a hire and fire thing.
Yes, sir. It's a hire and fire, and I believe that we should be paid for our performance. I don't believe that we should go year to year to year, just kind of saying, well, let's raise our lower deductible, because there's way more to it than that.
How long have you been doing
Since 1996.
that? How long, what's the longest county?
Control client.
Our oldest client is 1996. We actually have some clients from
That are still
1996
there.
that are still with us, yes. But you know, let me give you just, okay, may I give you the story on my step into the county? We hadn't stepped into county environment until 2009. And what happened was we were speaking at a city manager event. And we actually had an executive director from a council of governments who was in attendance. And he said, so everything that you all are saying makes so much sense. And I believe that we've just kind of been glossed over, like so many years, it's like, well, here's your renewal, here's your increase, you can raise your deductible, kind of thing. He didn't know about the strategies. A lot of people there didn't know about the strategies. And he said, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to hire you for the COG. And if you bring us savings, not just the first year, because he said anybody can do that, but you bring me savings over 3 years, then I want us to co-brand the service that on behalf of the COG, we're bringing our counties you, because then I would feel confident after 3 years. So that would have been, one of the counties didn't wait 3 years. They heard about us from somebody else. But I would say our longest county that we've worked with has been 4 years, I guess. A lot of them 30, probably most of them 30.
So a lot of cities.
Work with cities too, yeah.
Did
But
they
you know,
say-
cities and counties are different, kind of animals.
Have they seen immediate sustained results?
Yes, sir, they have. And that's something else. So for example, let's say, and I'm just throwing a number out there, okay, so you can't hold me to anything, but let's just say that we saved you $100,000 in pharmacy benefit. Would you not agree that maybe that could have been saved last year and the year before and the year before?
Sure. You can think about
You can't. You can't. But certainly, that's what I'm saying. So moving forward, from the moment you put that measure in place, you know you're saving.
Anybody got any more questions? Maybe we need to kind of move on here.
Yeah, we need to.
Well, we need to go on the agenda so we keep around.
Well,
This is important stuff.
Well, I can stay.
Now,
I don't
the
know if you-
details.
You know, I started the presentation and she can do her benefits, basically what we've been paying now is what she says. We kind of need to probably talk to June about some of that too, but
You're saying where she's saving us money is in the self-insured.
yeah, but I see how she's gonna do that, and we're gonna have a real good feeling up front, but we're not gonna know if that's the right thing to do for 12 months, really.
Well, your renewal's right around the corner. We can put measures in place at this year's renewal where you're going to see savings. That's why I said, if we don't bring you at renewal at least what our fee is, and you don't pay us a dime, then we can just be done. And you can go back to whatever you were doing and march on down the road. But I'm confident.
you gonna come back and revisit this after we have time to stay? You wanna come back and revisit this during the budget workshop, or? Okay, we'll table this until we hear these presentations, and then we'll come back, revisit issue. Appreciate you staying around. Okay, table that issue for a few minutes. Number 10, which is one of the workshop presentations. We have Ken Teague, our district attorney, up first.
And hers is 476. And y'all have copies of her requested.
I'm not
why this is such a tight budget here. But, anyway, I'd like to add to this, I think I have on there, I'm requesting the desk, and I'm also requesting a keypad. I think it's extremely important. We're not going with the whole bulletproof glass or anything that we asked for when they were having all the shootings in Kaufman County, but I would like a keypad. I do not have any numbers at this point. I've contacted Tom Ramp, and he is supposed to be getting me some numbers on that. I think you could understand how imperative it might be to have a keypad up there. We have all the probationers that are lined up outside of our office. We have people that come in and out of our office. And I just think it's extremely dangerous considering, we put most of these people in prison. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm at a disadvantage with you guys. You know how much I've spent, but I can't really accurately quantify for you what we save y'all in terms of money for the jobs that we do up there. I have an extremely qualified team. This is a very specialized team. I mean, when I'm talking about what Terry and Ryan and I do, particularly in the courtroom, this is something that you can't build. It's not an entry-level position. And these people cannot be replaced. And I would hate to lose them. We need to be competitive in order to keep them, and that's why I'm here. Ryan has come in and he is receiving $43,000 from the two counties, that's Eastland and Stevens County, and he gets a state supplement on top of that. I am asking that we bump up his salary to something that's more comparable with our surrounding counties. I've got some sheets for you, so you can see kind of what our caseloads are as compared to just mainly Palo Pinto and Eastland County.
Dave, does that full 27.5, does that go towards consistently?
Full 27.5? No, part of that goes towards, a little bit goes towards Terry, most of it goes towards, he's at about 63 is what he gets.
So you've got an additional 20%
Yeah.
stipend to that?
And of course, as you know, Stevens County is going to pick up a third of whatever y'all allocate. If you look at this, all of these other counties have full-time investigators. Eastland has 2 full-time investigators, and they all have 2 felony attorneys. I'm not exactly sure on Archer, Clay, and Montague. Those are 3 counties. I think those are our 3 felony attorneys. I know Eastland County has an additional prosecutor which handles the misdemeanors. But if you'll look at this, we're a 2-county district. Eastland, which is the 29th district, they are a 1-county, not Eastland, excuse me, Palo Pinto, the 29th district, is a 1-county district. The 91st district, which is Eastland County, is a 1-county district. We are a 2-county district with a greater population other than Palo Pinto. But our caseload, we have, and this is September 1st of 2013 through August 31st of 2014. These are filings. These are not intake. Intake is a very time-consuming process because we get all these cases in. We have to evaluate them, see if they meet what we think we can adequately prosecute the courts, or if there's probable cause. And we have to go through all of these cases that are submitted to us. Now, just to kind of tell you what we have done and why we are such an effective team. You may recall when I first came into office, there was such a backlog of cases. I mean, an incredible backlog of cases. We were at the point we were losing state funding. We were going to lose state funding that would affect the sheriff's office, Virginia's House, the police department, everybody. No more state grants had we not got our disposition up to 90% or above. I contacted them in Austin and I said, listen, I just came on board. I mean, I inherited this situation. And she said, tough cookies, you got to get it done. You got to do something about this. So I was like, okay. I said, you're not going to give me any kind of dispensation or anything? No, you've got to get it done or forget your state funding. So I went in there and started doing what I could to get these cases prosecuted, had to dismiss some. And we were looking at a backlog of over 30 sexual assaults of children cases that were filed. I mean, that's a lot of those cases. And those cases generally have to be tried because in those cases, I don't offer anything below, something where those people are essentially in prison for life. We came in, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but we have a 100% success rate up there. I mean, we won every case, and not only we won every case, this is a team effort. This isn't just me. This is Ryan and Terry and everybody else, the support staff that goes in there, but particularly Ryan and Terry and I are in the courtroom. And we have not only won all of our cases, but we've gotten really huge sentences. Now, how does that translate over to savings for you guys? This is how it translates. Since that time, we have had so many cases plea. I had a guy the other day that pled to life as opposed to go to court and risk going to trial with us. And how does that save you money? Well, when they plead, they waive their appeal. You don't have the court-appointed attorney cost. You don't have the cost of the jury. I'm telling you, for what we can save on, if you save 2 to 3 trials a year, that would supplement Ryan's salary at $20,000. That's how much you would save. I mean, we had a murder trial without a body. We tried it in 5 days. Well, maybe it was 6. I think it was 5 days. We tried the whole case in 5 days because we streamlined our cases. We are a very effective and efficient prosecutor's office. Again, when I said you save on the jury, you save on all the witness costs, the appellate costs, the housing costs. We've had just some unprecedented plea deals. I mean, these guys have come in and they've said, I've had people come in and like, okay, I'll take 40 years, I'll take 30. You do not get those kind of pleas in other jurisdictions. So, I mean, I do not want to lose this team. I mean, we have a really effective, efficient team. And if you'll look at those numbers, I think you'll see that we're not remaining competitive. And I'm trying to get rid of the bad guys, not get rid of the good people. And I hate to see Ryan and his family leak out and go somewhere else where they're more competitive. Terry is essentially a paralegal, is what she is. And I was looking at, for example, in Eastland County, their administrative assistant makes $55,000 a year. Their paralegal makes $38,000 a year. Compared to what Terry makes, I mean, that's amazing. And Marshall, he's going to continue to do what he does. I mean, you've got a heck of a bargain there. He has 50-plus years in law enforcement, and he's satisfied to continue to do his job as a part-time employee. So I'm not asking for anything in that. And furthermore, I'm not asking anything for myself. And most every elected district attorney in this area and around here, they get supplements from their county. And I'm not asking for that. I'm asking it for my employees. Any questions?
Eastland County is a little different, even though they're a single county district. Do they not also have a federal district court?
Yes.
Eastland, yeah.
And they're on I-20.
They get drug interdiction. Yeah, they
Substantial amount of activity that we wouldn't otherwise have here.
We still have just as serious cases as they have. I mean, we have more cases than they have.
I work in both counties. I think Gunn County is more busy, it's just as busy as.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're trying first degree felonies right now. Our aggravated sexual assault of children are just out the roof, the number of those cases we have. And that's what we've primarily had to try, because they've taken precedent on the docket. And we've gotten these drug people, and they're like, well, if I go to court, she's going to get essentially life, and then she may stack something else on me. So I'll go ahead and I'll take 35, I'll take 40, I'll take 60. Because they now know we go to trial. When we go to trial, we ask for the maximum, and we generally get it for free. But I think we need to remain competitive. I do not want to lose this team. We have an outstanding team. And I'm asking y'all to help me keep them.
Well, I mean, Terry shows the worth, he's been through 3 DAs.
Absolutely. She has more knowledge experience than any lawyer in this courtroom, except for maybe me. That's just in Dallas County where I was a young DA and I had to try 3 cases a day. But seriously. Yeah. And I mean, she is essentially a paralegal, is what she is. know.
Did you have specific numbers there?
Well, I would like to bump Ryan up to something comparable to what's going on in Palo Pinto. I think a $20,000 raise is not unreasonable. And like I said, you know, you save 2 jury trials a year, and you pretty much have met that right there.
$20,000 still, but that's still 16, 17,000 less than Palapinda's.
Yeah, I know. I would like 25, actually.
Well, I understand, but I'm not sure if the Palapin guy's worth that much money that the case study's got. Let's look at it from the other end. Is that guy worth that kind of money?
I know, and
You know?
I don't know apples to apples. I don't know what their, I don't know anything about what their appraisals are, what they're doing, but,
Very well, district, good.
but I will tell
Done
you,
very well, the county.
It does say local wealth of the county.
the,
Built to the budget to pay.
we had 227 that was budgeted last year for our office. Palo Pinto had 302,000. Eastland had 413,000. We don't ask for a lot in our office. You know, we really don't. But my staff is extremely important to me. I'm asking you to, instead of just going with what all the employees are, I really think that the specialized talent that we have, especially with Ryan and Terry, that you got with their salaries significantly.
What are you asking for, Terry?
You know, I'd love to give her something outstanding, but, you know, I came in last time, and I guess I didn't have the information I needed, but, you know, when you got a paralegal over in Eastland getting 38,000, I mean, I would at least say bump her up something to, close to that.
What is she making with the other part of the state?
Is it,
Yeah, Terry's.
Terry's chief assistant,
Chief
right?
assistant, yes, and then she gets a little bit.
Who's secretary?
That's Amber.
Okay.
We have 31,000, and it varies at times what she gets from the state. But, you know, I would,
Is any of your, is any of that state supplement you receive for those kinds of things go to any of your other than your assistant DA?
because they're Terry and Ryan, we give them a little bit of.
Does she get an extra 130 paycheck?
I'm not exactly sure how that, do you know on that, Cheryl? Exactly.
I don't, it doesn't really come through.
Okay, I'll come back and give you those numbers, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Is there any talk of your state supplement going up this year?
In fact, there's gonna be a little issue with my salary, because apparently they have, done something as far as our retirement contributions. And they said that the county would supplement to get me above what I'm, if the additional money they're taking out of my salary, that they're gonna reimburse you guys, but it's gonna be a little issue, I don't know, Cheryl's gonna deal with that. Any questions?
No, and I do not doubt the quality of your people. The only doubts I have is whether we've got the money.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you, in the long run, this pays off. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
did you ever figure out how much the desk was, Steve?
They are working on that. Terry she gave one estimate on that.
I don't know, I know we had,
Oh, 3,000, is it the
we
3,000?
put 3,000.
Okay,
You
that's
know, in
fine.
there, there was 1,000 in office furniture, and that's
Yeah.
what, it's kind of earmarked,
Yeah.
provided as 3,000.
And we might be able to get something less than that. He's just right now dealing with an old desk that looks like from the 1950s or something, and then something to throw his computer on, and, I mean, it's really hard for him to work on a workstation like that.
And I think controlled access to your office is a much more practical idea,
Yeah, that's
you know.
just something that we can ask so we can keep all these people from wandering in.
Yeah, usually
Courthouse,
some-
once again, all of you have to leave the courthouse at one time or the other.
Yes.
And usually something like that will, you know, take out of courthouse security, which, and look, Pluggo, we have nearly $6,000 in there, so that's something we ought to consider.
And I know there's a security firm in Wichita Falls, that's what Terry gets. She gets 3,302. Okay, yeah, Terry is 3,302, which is,
3,300.
yeah.
We have to take the benefits out of the 27 also, that's why.
And then Mike is 20,000.
That would increase FICA by 7%.
Yeah, that we pay those, all the benefits out of there too, out of the 27.
It's an employee cost.
We don't
Benefits
get
packages.
quite all of it, we get most of it.
Her benefits package is, what is it, 18,000 or so for each employee? What does benefits cost us per employee?
For insurance and everything, it depends on their salary, depends.
Well, sure, because it's a percentage, but
The insurance is what, like 8,000 a year, and then your 9 point something percent for retirement. So, I said it depends. Yeah, I think the rate goes down just a little bit.
Anyway, I haven't heard back from Tom, but I think Tom might be able to do some better deal than the firm in Wichita Falls. And I called Monty over at Miracle Glass and said he doesn't do that. If y'all have any suggestions on whom else to call, I'd be happy to do it, but I don't know. Keep that.
Okay, we've got somebody in town now that may be going to do something.
Guardian did the JP.
This fellow called the air conditioning place.
Yes, he
Tom's
not
distributor. Right, air conditioning. He's also part of, or he used to be part of Wichita Lock and Key. And he has had his license before he informed me the other day that he was going back in there, and his dad was gonna come down there, I believe. He still has his license, and they were gonna service locks and all that, so.
Robert, yours is a keypad, not a card. You don't use a card, do you?
It's a card.
It doesn't use a card?
Card and key fob. The judges just keypad upstairs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fairly old technology, it's been there a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You replaced it probably 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good for you.
Okay.
Unless we do that for them.
Okay, we're gonna recess for 10 minutes.
Take those pieces out.
Well, can't do that. Yeah. You don't do
Okay,
Dee's the most unstable part of that team, she won election away.
I'm sorry, what? Oh.
Yeah, problem with being an elected official, isn't it?
Yeah.
These numbers speak for themselves.
He ain't going nowhere.
She's not going anywhere, is she?
I hope
You know a guy named Herbert Garon? G-A-R-O-N? Dallas, attorney around.
Where did you
He works on for Henry White's office. Met him over at the Fandangle at
When did he work for?
Breckenridge,
What year?
probably, I don't know, maybe the late 70s.
Huh.
Great.
My dad was there in the early 70s. He was there in like 1970, I guess 69, something like that was when my dad was over there.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
He probably, let's take my dad on
He's
that.
probably in his mid-70s.
Where's his office?
6116 North Central Expressway.
Okay. I know where that is. That's right over by the Twin Sixties, what used to be Twin Sixties. You remember that over there?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where the Playboy Club was.
Yeah, I sat beside him when we started visiting at that. He's worked as a prosecutor in the DA's office. So,
Yeah, those are fun times. My dad said the first case he had to try when he was a DA was Henry Wade's brother.
Henry Wade's brother?
Yeah. Henry Wade brought me in the file and said, Scotty, I want you to. I wonder if that's around. Anyway, so Dad was like, well, Henry, you want me to, what are you gonna do on this? I said, throw the book at him. And he did.
Brotherly love there. And he did.
Well, I mean, even Henry's wife said that.
Surely may have been deserving.
And she said that, God knows I would never, if I needed to run, get a pack of cigarettes or something, if I had a glass of wine, would do it, because if I got pulled over, my own husband would throw the book at me.
Well, no one should ever assume that because a brother or aunt gets arrested, that that person's not guilty as they can be.
That's right.
Because somebody in position. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about your team. You got a good team.
And it really does, save our dollars in the end, because you start getting plea deals like that. I mean, it's taken a while for us to get it into place, and we did have.
Seeing those
that-
objective savings.
I'm sorry, what?
The objective savings, give us, see something simple.
Right.
Real numbers, but you can't see what didn't.
Right, yeah. And when you.
Tab, we do need to see those plea bargains. See how many plea bargains we have, because every one of those is safe. Are you having more of them?
I should have my
Oh, yeah.
recording by the end.
When I had
You're
a
dragging
guy-
lady, aren't you?
When I had that guy take this a year that
That's
they
August 31st.
No, I'm sorry.
You should have pat yourself.
I've already signed up for it. I did one
Well, that's
course so far.
Because that says you're effective in prosecution.
And I had, one guy who told that road for trying.
Get my hours with the pull out.
I teach another guy that took.
I'm taking mental health officer.
And he had said, I won't take any.
I look at all that at
He
once.
got it, and he's 35. And I mean, that's,
Are your investigators making better cases?
I have.
He's reserving for it.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Had some problems.
We get those nasty grants.
So they're doing good.
Everybody's names all in one.
And we're,
Lord knows we got plenty of prosecutors.
yeah, and we're doing
They need to keep
these
these records
dockets.
wired
We did one last
before
week,
86.
that's why I don't have all my numbers on
In our
together
hand.
for this meeting was Thursday. We had 104 case docket. Stevens County, we're getting ready to have 120 case docket over here in July.
Well, something else about our
We pay all the attorneys,
legislative
all the
update
defendants
stuff.
show up, and at that point, it's.
Which I've already gotten done
Let's
through,
make a deal. And we
That's
get them,
good, you're doing it all right.
and we get them on paper, and a lot of people are like, why don't you send them on paper, which actually, we said.
I did legislative
we're pretty
updates
here in
in part,
the
too.
counties to do it on percentage
I
wise.
can count.
But,
I did
put them on paper,
appeals work.
you can revoke them, and
No,
it's back.
you gotta report it on insurance aid.
You may even change people's attitudes, where they're living.
The legislative.
Then you might have.
Yeah, legislative update, I just took.
Liberal rehabilitation side of things. Doesn't often work. Leopard change this spot's.
I got a couple of different.
I like it.
And I'll need, I got.
We got it as a good citizen office.
I know, they can be recorded.
Really,
That's
I don't think,
reports.
okay, now I know my parents probably in 1978 said the war was going to come, but.
But,
Understand.
And I'm
criminal
thinking, is
appeals
it
courts,
because,
It doesn't look very bad now. Compared to that, does it?
state bar, it's just,
There's so much acceptance.
and then use the status of.
When was that?
You know, we knew it was for behavior back then.
I
I graduated in 68, the world was recorded.
That 68 was a bad year. I mean, I could see how the whole world thought that it was a apocalyptic
Sure.
year. And you had
So everybody still had their new coat.
Yeah.
You gotta immerse the
But-
bar.
But what I've
That's
seen
the
lately, I'm
equal
just,
world.
God,
Yeah.
That's the trouble with the slapstick layer position in Texas.
I'm not in for
and that's not even the biggest issue of all that I'm worried about. I'm just worried about, more with everybody.
Sure.
And the way, the dog.
Feeling real hedonistic.
The dog, I mean, it's just, we're upside down.
Tail wagging the dog.
Yeah, we can't continue that. I mean, I don't know. Hello.
That's Jolene.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I bet your yard looks good, doesn't it?
I'm still fat in the weeds.
Oh, up to green. Last year you had hair weed.
St. Augustine's loving it, so.
But you're gonna have to keep on watering and feeding it for it to stay happy. But now the city will let you buy all the water you want to buy.
I haven't needed to water anything.
I know, I mean, it's so green and.
You know, June is generally when you stop mowing, because everything goes dormant.
No, not this year.
Not this year.
It's mowing twice a week. You can sit there and watch it grow.
I don't know.
But you're not a yard person, are you?
Oh, I'm my yard, I mean, I didn't want to.
But I mean, you're not a flower grower.
I don't have time.
I can tell by your numbers you don't have time.
Mine's pretty much nothing.
I enjoyed your presentation. Okay, so tell me, you get as many, like,
How you doing? How's it going? Just sitting in today?
yeah. She's saying about that.
I mean, you know,
Active part of all this stuff. It's from, if that was easy, yeah.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Typically super does it.
Yeah. Staying busy here.
Oh, yeah.
But, like with different.
You have to- it's good to have one.
This is like your third
Few
team.
cases.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to the doctors.
Not to stay busy.
Right, because their license is on the line, so.
Yeah.
I mean, they have
Just some
complete autonomy
here.
anytime to say,
Over Stevens.
you know, we recommend the doctor.
Try to stay within 100 miles.
So, I don't know if you've been at the.
I've still got some stuff going down to San Antonio.
We've had that, of course, I don't get sick very often, but
Travel
they
down
called,
there.
this year already, they called me Hennessy tag, they called my husband Hennessy tag.
If you're on vacation.
That's what, yes. Because I don't want to, you can get your
Why
best,
back up here?
I like it to be, you forgot, that would come against me, but you called me, okay, and I forgot my bottle, but it's just what I paid. You give me enough money to pay.
They'll do it, how are you?
How are you doing?
Yeah.
And I can see if I can look into it. Yes, what would you, man, I'll tell you, I can give you this one on a written version. That's $2 there, it's like $100. And here's what I paid out here. The hospital, they've got their stuff written on, so I'm going to hold that, so it's cost you $100 or whatever.
So it's a, that's what I like.
I get mine.
Oh, that's great.
With my,
How's the lake over home?
Yeah, it's back up. I hadn't been out there last time I heard about 20 foot going over. It's better. There was a guy, poor guy full, he went to go look at it. Got out and picked up nothing and parked.
Stephanie too?
No, we actually called for lunch because we knew he was gonna be there.
We're gonna have it delivered, you know?
Wow. The girl break her neck right before they kept
I was trick riding actually, I used to trick ride.
I actually had a blanket in my box.
Yeah, I still ride because you know, but I didn't, and I had a
They were actually come out with you.
yeah, but you're strapped on with one foot tied down, you know, you can bail if you need to. I broke my neck twice, I broke, 6 and 7.
Kind of leave and settle out right now.
Yeah, I have 2 rides, my
Bonnie, Bonnie.
yeah, exactly.
Or we can't do
I have to tell them, you know, when they have us on orange alert, you know, with our security, and I go to the airport, I just tell them. Because if it's, if I'm on orange alert, then I'll go on, you know, when they, I'll go on. But.
Yeah.
Because the troopers are in Mexico.
Well, when we got our,
Yeah.
But.
Joanne went through all the records and she found where some of them that we had warrants on weren't even in the files. There's some kind of miscommunication between DPS and plus, the guys going to the border all the time. And the ones that are here going to other counties training the rookies. And so there's already been about 6 months.
Okay, can you just listen?
I'm not HS because I'm not.
Well, that's because there's nobody here. But see, that's fixing to change. They just, their first class at 250, it's going to the border. And they're supposed to do like 4, they're supposed to give them 250 troops strictly to the border. Which will
Bring your number.
bring our guys, they may not go once every 6 months.
Really?
I'm not one of the,
Oh, 730.
Probably should have bought my wall. The latest thing, it's one of the part of the day that I went to see.
Yeah, I think he did.
That's what I'm talking about. Our county, all the roofs are in other counties. Our guys are under this county and have to go to those counties. Which is gonna be over about 3 more months.
I know what the transition.
We're starting before Mother's
I didn't realize.
Decided to do it by top rail or mark wire.
Top rail, top rail. Center road's got no. Got no name.
Thing is, he back.
And a lot of it's again, they said, fine, whatever we do. No problem.
I told Danny, we'll make him, we'll do that. He's gonna be able to cut your name, go from there,
Yes, because he buried somebody there 2012.
It was a red.
Can we bury one time?
They have monthly.
So I think that he's got to have that out there because we've got so many headstones missing.
Don't do no more. Says no.
Headstones missing?
Yeah.
That big she's stolen headstones out of it?
I'm not worried about that, they got the whole crap shit up there.
It rushed and run and.
Yes, we bring her up.
Really with welded wire and wire panel or anything like that, go bars, measurable or some kind of, that stuff to me, or something like that. Undergrowth got it.
Now, this would be great, like, be
Good. Almost. Best thing to do is once a year, go out there.
Didn't start to worry about you.
All around, every year, that way that we'll be.
Do you have a how do we tell where it's been from?
Lord, no, nobody.
You gotta have a fallback plan.
I'm telling you.
You've already done that, right?
We don't do anything.
If we do kick it to the side, we didn't see it.
Maybe.
If somebody says, ouch, it's all I gotta say, he's sorry.
If you're on the cover.
There might just say, there might be,
He doesn't have somebody thinks it's in the middle.
there might be an old flat that partially identified, but there's not a consistent flat that identify where the breaks are out
It's
there.
difficult to put a new interior, someone new out there then without making sure you're in the right spot.
That's difficult.
I will check with him.
Okay, we'll call the court back to order. We're now on item number 10, budget workshop. We just heard from the district attorney. We'll now hear from our justice of the peace, Judge Robert Dodd, precinct number 1.
All right, appreciate y'all having us here this morning. On hand, you got a little handout here. Y'all probably haven't got this one. Because I've been kind of keeping it in my office and I didn't know I was supposed to give it to you.
Surprise, huh?
Yeah, well, you're gonna like it.
Still under development. You want to pay raise or what?
No. No pay raise. Yes, they all have one of them. We're wanting to ask for some extra hours for one of our clerks down there. And we have some budget amendments that's gonna offset that. So we're not asking for you to take any more money and put in our budget. In fact, it'll be about $700 less. What we're asking for is Diana, she works 16 hours. And we're just asking that we raise her up to 29 hours, and which would be 13 more hours. And if you look down at the bottom, it shows right here, I talked to Cheryl about all this. Everything that we would be paying her would total $9,504. And what we're gonna be giving back in budget cuts, because I had my own retirement when I left DPS, so we're taking that off, and that's $8,400. We're taking $500 off.
Insurance.
Insurance, excuse me, insurance. We're taking $500 off of office supplies, and then $1,300 off of education, which is $10,200. So we would still be giving back right at $700. And some of the reasons we need to do that is, you know, the last meeting we came to, we talked to you about changing to Purdue. And since that time, Joanne's been checking a lot of the stuff when we were in GHS and with iTicket and all that stuff. And we have found out that not just a few times, but on numerous occasions, we would look at our warrant system and it wouldn't be in there. There's been some kind of communication between iTicket, which is DPS, and GHS. It's not getting in there, so we're not getting any collections. And we believe that with Purdue, we're going to get those collections, so we're going to bring in more money. The other thing is we have activity that's not the same level it was before, and that's because the county, they have been great. They come in, they file their cases and everything else, but DPS, with the border system the way it is, a lot of people don't understand this. Brian has 10 troops. He's got 3 rookies that have to be trained by 3 officers, and they have to be trained in the county that they're going to work in, so they'll have knowledge of it. And so you have guys going nearly every week to the border, and then guys having to go out of the county to train these new troops. I feel like in the next 6 months, that's going to all change, because they just graduated 250 troopers down in Austin this past week. They're going to the border. The legislature gave DPS, I think it was 250. They graduated 77 that's going to the border. The DPS has given the state 250 troops that are specific for the border.
So they're gonna be assigned to the border?
They're gonna be assigned to the border, which means our guys,
Really?
they will come back home, and instead of going once or maybe twice a month, they may go once every 2 or 3 months. And so they'll be here to work, and this is something that I don't think anybody in the law enforcement, the state law enforcement really likes, you know. You get a duty station, and that's where you wanna live. And then you spend at least half, maybe more than half your time at the border. That's not what it's about, and they're very disgruntled. And so this was a remedy that the state has made for them, so we're gonna have our troops back. And in 6 months, the rookies that they have now are gonna be trained, so they won't be going to other counties to train those too, so our production is gonna come up.
So we're getting a dedicated border force and leaving our
Well,
local troopers out?
yeah, I think the next legislature, the colonel's gonna ask for some more troops. There will be some, but when you take, I think, right now, it's usually about 500 a month they take from around the state to go down there.
Right.
And so if you put 250 down there, you're gonna cut that whole amount in half. And hopefully the next legislature, they'll ask for more and they'll get it filled
So
up.
they'll still be moving just not as often?
My son just told me that the legislature approved 3 new sergeant areas down there. So that means they're going to get more troopers down there, and let these guys come back to where they live, because like I said, they're disgruntled, and you don't want to lose them.
Right.
And so I feel like once they get back, our whole overall production is going to increase.
There'll be more violations being written.
Right, and there's plenty of work down there, but some of the problems we have is like, when Joanne went to school, Marquita she works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Diana works a half a day on Thursday and Friday, and I'm not saying, of course, I hadn't been in there long enough, and I don't know everything, But I do know that when someone comes in for an eviction or a civil case, or even for a traffic ticket, if they want to tell their story, I can't listen to them. So I don't hardly ever work the window. Unless they want to take care of something, then I can take care of it. And so we need someone there every day, all day. And I think with this 29 hours, or this 13 hours that we're going to increase Diana, then I think that will cover the whole week, every day, for illnesses and everything else. And so, like I said, we're asking for that 13 hours, and we're not requesting a pay raise for me. We're not requesting a pay raise for Joanne or anything else, and it would be very appreciative if y'all would consider that. You have anything you want to add?
Another thing that the judge didn't mention is with our new software that we got, it takes time to get everybody trained in this. So it would help, because some of our clerks don't deal with everything that I do. It would help if, we could have more time, consistent time with everybody trained, including the judge.
Do what?
So I think time is late, but I don't know how we make it more time.
How do you utilize it?
Be able to use.
But having her there more.
Right, that's what.
There's only 24 hours in a day.
Commissioners Court will give you 28.
I'm sorry. But yes, there are some things that we need to
That
consider.
29 hours maintains, keeps her under the benefits package, right?
Yes, I went over this with Cheryl. If she wants to explain some of that to you, she can.
If y'all have any
We've done
questions
it.
about it, they did it, but
There's another thing, I've got 107 vacation hours, so I've got to burn a lot, otherwise I'm gonna lose it. I'm building up my sick hours a lot, and I realize, I don't take those unless I have to. But we need somebody there whenever I have to burn some of those hours.
So what else does your office do more than Stan does over there? Why do you need that part-time help for?
Well,
He doesn't have a part-time.
He doesn't want
he's
it.
kind of out and never used it. I don't know. I mean,
He used to have a part-time, but he didn't want another person in there.
Stan doesn't have as much civil file with his office as we do now. He gets additions to live, but the civil tends to come to us. I mean, he gets some, yes.
So that occupies your time where this part-time help works the window?
And I'd say yours is probably a more populated area than what Stan's is too.
yes, it is.
I would say popular area.
Not populated.
What's the
Is
case
your
and all that?
office rearranged where you don't have to go around your desk and get to the window anymore?
Nope. I'm still weeding through the courtroom.
He's hurdling.
So if they're gonna work the window, don't they need to be in more of a proximity of it?
Well, the other two are.
The other two are.
They still have to walk around the cabinet, or the counter here. But they're just right in front of it.
And they can be seen from the window. I have to, I can get there, but it takes a little bit, yes.
Do you prefer it the way you do it?
As far as me being able to work, yes.
You say the other two, there's only one work at a time?
No, there's alternate, they overlap some.
And Marquita's Monday through Wednesday?
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. She does, and she's off Thursday and Friday, and
What hours do you have planned for Diane?
do what now?
What days do you have?
We're gonna have her there for Thursday and Friday for sure. And then we'll let her pick her other hours up, like she's been doing, because they do quite a bit. They're trying to learn this new system also, so it's taking long to do that, and then, and so we're just gonna make it where it covers everything.
The issue is since we basically don't have a courtroom down there, when we have jury trials, we have to come here. So we need somebody to man the office. So she will have filled in then.
My other question is, do y'all color coordinate today?
I keep telling them, those are kind of a grayish, mine are blue. So, the shirts are the same.
But what you've done to your budget to accommodate that request, Judge? I like great.
Yes. All right, is that it?
It works. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, it's to your, it's to your $350, I have your insurance, it may not be in your.
Thanks for having us. I guess the only thing that we're kind of asking for is the sheriff's office. We've got some stats that we want to present to y'all on increase in deputy pay, and we just thought y'all look at that for us. We did surveys from Archer, Jack, and Stevens County. That's our surrounding counties, and they make quite a bit more than what our deputies make. Now, our jail and our dispatcher are compatible, but our deputies are on the, under what they get paid. And it's right at, probably around 14%. We were kind of shocked that the counties surrounding us, the deputies are making a lot more than what our deputies are making.
What's the difference in the population, caseload, and how many deputies do they have on the paper? All those kind of things, have you got that with that?
Don't have the population size of all the counties. I can definitely get that for you.
We just went with, like, we understand Palo Pinto a lot better than county, that's why we did this with Palo Pinto deputies. Jack's about compatible, as far as deputy wise. Archer, Stevens is about the same. So we'll just let y'all, if y'all don't mind, take a look at that and just,
I have you guys, if you don't mind, if you got a few minutes, I'd like to go over them with you. The first section of these are the comparisons, all the numbers that Sheriff just mentioned. And the last part of it is all the data from the Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So we'll start with patrol, CID, and administration. Our patrol deputies presently make $33,351 a year, and we're proposing $38,020. For the Department of Labor, our patrol deputies are paid below the median wage, 50th percentile. For northwestern Texas non-metropolitan areas, such as where Young County is situated, the annual mean wage for deputies is $42,020. Following rankings put us in the 25th percentile, falling below $33,490 a year. For the state of Texas, the annual mean wage for deputies is $53,940, puts us below the 10th percentile. Again, our 14% pay increase for patrol deputy salary at $38,020 a year, still below the 50th percentile for northwestern Texas non-metropolitan areas. Jack County pays their deputies $36,726. Stevens, $36,540. Archer, $38,200. And Palo Pinto, $47,403. Now, I understand Palo Pinto is larger than Young County. I didn't really factor that into comparisons much because they have such a broader tax base and a large department. But I still wanted you to see that a neighboring county pays that much more. And if somebody really wanted to work for money, they're going to go to a neighboring county. The next page is our investigator comparison. Our investigator presently makes $35,536 a year, proposing $40,511. For northwestern Texas non-metropolitan areas, the annual mean wage for him would be $50,740. For the state of Texas, $77,630. Comparing Young County investigator with surrounding counties, Jack County pays $36,726, Stevens $37,584, Archer $38,800, Palo Pinto $49,661. So this would put him more comfortable with the other surrounding counties. Chief deputy salary $37,175 present, proposed was $42,379. In northwestern Texas non-metropolitan areas, the annual mean wage is $53,110 a year. For the state of Texas, annual mean wage is $84,190. Jack County pays their chief deputy $40,000 a year. Stevens pays $39,200. Archer pays $39,500. Palo Pinto pays $50,000. And it was my understanding after I did some research that we can't request increase for the sheriff's salary, but I did do some research on that, according to Texas Association of Counties 2014 salary survey. Counties with population between 10 and 24,999 people, or 65 counties fall into this range. Average salary for the sheriff's position is $51,577. Falling into the 14% increase, this put the sheriff's salary at $49,786, still below the average of the 65 counties that fall into that range. Moving on to dispatch. The numbers that we discussed with Cheryl, we've decided when we came and met with Cheryl to be 14% across the board. Again, like Sheriff said, after further research, we're already comparable with other counties. So we're just asking for 3% cost of living on dispatch. Presently, we're paying $20,224 a year. Proposed will be $29,713. Still puts us within the 50th percentile for northwestern Texas non-metropolitan area, and in the 25th percentile for the state.
Also on dispatch, the overtime, it was at 10,000 and 20, and right now, we're barely at 20 right now, we still have like 6 more payrolls this year, so that might not be.
We're $11,000.
Right. So
That might be
they're
something.
getting the overtime because, I mean, people, they're wanting to use 100% of their vacation hours. They're wanting to use 100% of their holiday time. So when those ladies take off, we have to fill that position.
Well, they do get one overtime, 1 week of overtime every single paycheck.
Well, yeah, we will. I'm just going over the numbers for this.
Okay.
You said they get 1 week of overtime?
Or one of their weeks always has
They're
overtime.
not paid under the law enforcement.
They work 36 one and 40 the other.
So we'll keep, we'll just request 3% for dispatch. For Jack County, they pay the dispatchers $27,917. Stevens pays them $24,420. Archer pays $28,587. Pelham pays $35,663, and again, we're at $28,324. And on those bar graphs, we're in the blue, and our comparison counties are in the red. So you guys can kind of judge how far off we are. Within the jail, the same thing applies. We had originally requested through Cheryl 14%. After some research, we realized we're pretty much on par with everybody else that's surrounding us. As far as statewide in our region, we're right under. For northwestern Texas non-metro areas, the annual mean wage is $37,220. We're at $30,619. So we're still under the 10th percentile for our area. And that's rural areas. That's rural West Texas. I mean, not counting Lubbock, not counting Amarillo, not counting Wichita Falls. Those are small communities much like ours. So we are in the 10th percentile, which is pretty low. Again, just asking for 3% to compare with the other counties in our area. Jack County pays $27,917. Stevens County pays $27,352. Archer pays $28,587. And Palo Pinto pays $35,663. And again, right now we're at $30,619. Proposed $31,537 for our jailers. And if you're curious about the regions, as far as like the Northwest Texas non-metropolitan areas, it's in that research packet behind the there's a map that shows there.
Currently, how many programs do we have?
We have 10.
10?
Well, we have 6 patrol deputies plus our civil process investigator, myself, sheriff. I guess 7 stated that red.
6 patrol?
6 on the street, and our evidence tech, Casey Scobie, he wears a lot of hats, but he's paid the same amount as our patrol deputies. And he's listed on our budget line as civil process.
Investigator?
1.
Chief deputy?
1.
How many dispatchers?
8.
All
County,
jail?
12 that we just hired for replacement district. So,
And how many jailers?
17. Is that counting you? That's not counting.
18 counties.
17 administrators. 12-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts.
12.
What about the dispatch?
Same thing on our 12 hours. Now,
Let me ask you something about it. I'm not sure if they would do, but like if you did do your dispatchers, like 10-hour shifts, you go back to down overtime.
it would, after some recent events, and you're all aware of how many shootings and incidents involving firearms we've had lately, we've come up with 2 dispatchers per shift. Because whenever something like that happens, whether it's a major accident, storm, or something of that nature like a shooting, the phones are blowing up, radios are busy. It takes at least 2 people to run that office. And if we're down to 1, it could cost somebody, cost them their life. So we're not willing to take that chance. They do fall under, they do meet the criteria for the law enforcement exemption now, for the 86-hour rule. I don't know if that's something you guys want to explore.
Not for dispatch county.
They're licensed through TCO now,
Doesn't
so,
They're
okay,
totally different.
okay.
Don't mess with
Well, leave it alone. We won't mess with it. I just wanted to throw that out there. Something to consider for these salaries. Like Dee said earlier, we need to be competitive with surrounding agencies. For better retention, we lower our training costs for new employees, lower expenses related to new employment such as uniforms, employee physicals, etc. Improve salaries, reduce liability for potential lawsuits, and improve applicant pool. Improve morale, employees work better together. You have a deputy that's willing to stay longer because the pay is competitive. He's going to know the area better. It'll provide better response, better service to the community. And difficulty with recruiting when applicants can work in law enforcement for more money across the street or in every county. And those are options we face every time we hire somebody. When they can go to the police department and make more money, when they can go to Palo Pinto, Stevens, Arthur. So real quick in summary for our salaries. For the patrol deputies, present $33,351, we're proposing $38,020. Investigator, $35,536 is present, we're proposing $40,511. Chief deputy, present is $37,175, proposing $42,379. The civil process, straight deputy, present is $33,351, proposed $38,020. Clerk, $30,853, proposed $35,172. Dispatcher, present is $28,324, proposed is $29,713. And dispatch supervisor, gentlemen, we're asking again, I know we met about this a long time ago, about creating that position, eliminating the part-time dispatch position that had 2,000 or 2,500 in it, and making that the supervisor position, and adding that 2,000 to her salary. So her present salary is $28,324, like all the other dispatchers, and I'm proposing 31,713. That's 3% plus the extra 2,000 that was in that line item. So it would require you guys to create that line, but is that a big
No.
deal? So
Whatever.
just moving that around a little bit, if that's okay with y'all. And the jail's going to take a little bit of restructuring, if it's okay. We have the major here, administrator. His present salary is $35,536, 3% improvement, $36,602. We have one jail sergeant, which is on the budget line, assistant jail administrator. His present salary is $32,358, proposing $33,328. Jail corporals, we have 4 of them. They're shift supervisors, 1 per shift. So their present salary is $30,619. But it was added a 3% and added another 1,000 on top of that. Just a little incentive to being a shift supervisor over a basic jail. Our worker deputies at $31,990. Proposed $32,949. And the Courthouse Security Transport Officer King Cobb, $32,358, proposing $33,358. Anybody have any questions?
I think those dollars increase pay for you guys.
I didn't work those numbers, did you?
I did not.
Like the JP's office did, is there any place you can find savings in your other lines to help pay for that?
That's all I have on the numbers.
Just basically, next item we're asking is the jail. When the jail was built, they didn't adequately put enough cameras in that jail to kind of watch all the nooks and crannies in there. Since then, what we've, they didn't put any cameras in any of the cells to monitor inmates inside there. What we're experiencing is that they have damaged the windows, so now we've got to replace windows in those cells. That totals
The windows are gonna total, the total on your list is 25,000, but we've got with Cheryl on that. We can cut that in half, so we take the labor part of it off. So the travel, labor, motel, per diem and all that, that is 11,870. We're gonna be able to take that off, so what we'd be just asking for on that is the 13,200. Because we can put the windows in ourselves through with Mr. Parker and the free labor we have out there with the inmates. So the windows, every window we have in that facility is damaged beyond repair. Some of them even have burnt holes in the window. The bid that I got on these, the windows, yes, the windows that we're asking for with this is, it's not indestructible, but it's a very strong window. It's shatterproof and it has metal bars that are built into glass. Therefore, they can't burn the glass, they can't cut the glass. If they break that, I have the PSI that it's gonna take to break it. It's gonna take the Incredible Hulk to knock one of those things
These
out.
are all windows inside.
Yes, sir.
And the next big item that we are asking for your consideration is to go ahead and install cameras in those cells, monitors for damage control, just, to have that in place. Most jails in Texas do have cameras in the cells and they can monitor them 24/7 inside the cells itself. And of course, we don't have that capability.
What is it doing the ladies' cells?
Excuse me?
What is it doing the women's side?
It's fine. The only thing jail standard states is that you can't film the bathroom area on the shower to where you just have to put it above to where you can see the lip.
Basically, it's the day room,
Yes.
on tables and bunks.
You have to do that with every cell, men or women.
That's gonna cut down on a lot of maintenance costs.
Were these no results jail inspection?
No, sir. We met the jail standards. The windows were noted, but we had fixed it to where the whole thing was silicone, but it's just a matter of time before they can start getting that silicone out as well in the holes. So. We did go away with the cameras. We did not go through Argyle or MCS when we did our workshop with Cheryl. That company is extremely high cost-wise, so we went with a different company. He came out, he looked at what we needed and gave us a price on it. Those cameras, I know the list price for those cameras are pretty high, but that's probably going to be about $30,000 to $40,000 cheaper than what MCS could get it to us for.
Is this an enhancement to the minimum jail standards? be more cameras required for us to have?
Yes, sir, but I mean, they don't require you to have them in every single cell, but it's like the sheriff said, for the safety and the security of not just the inmates, but for the guards and anybody else that goes into that tank. And two, that's gonna cut down on a lot of the stuff that they're tearing up inside those tanks, where if you don't have a camera on 24/7, you can't be walking down that hall every second of every day, to where those cameras can record and capture everything that they have and everything that they do.
Unfortunately, they have 24/7 center for everything to turn up.
But they have.
They have.
So you gotta have this in the eyes though, put on these cameras, because the camera's no good unless it's being watched.
Yes, sir, but
And it's recorded as well.
it's recorded as
So it's
well.
recording, so if you find damage in the cell, you can go back and find
Yes, sir.
exactly who it was.
And you can actually put a free will charge on those individuals. So,
Hey, these windows, is this part of the building repair and maintenance?
yes, sir.
That's the-
What line is that?
Yeah, that's the 350, and I was gonna talk to y'all about that, because if you'll look at, we had budgeted 30,000 this year, and if you'll notice, we've spent 243,000. But of that, we had the new roof put on, and it was 273,570 is what that roof was, and we had received the insurance money last year instead of this year, so that's why that looks so off. So actually, what they've only spent, they're not counting the roof, is like $32,000.
Now, what else was skewed in the budget?
I think that wasn't that quick. I pulled several lines that we talked about because they were just so, the way they looked was kind of jacked up there.
Well, the drill transport, we can make that go out there. Well,
Yeah,
the
and,
expenses are shown.
yeah, and on the, in the jail, we have payment on the new vehicle because we did, actually, we budgeted 4,000, but the payment on that's only gonna be $3,000. Talked about that.
You guys drive, are you aware of the condition of the county roads? We need more money to spend on county roads. Where are we gonna find it?
My taxes doubled.
Your taxes done?
Yeah.
You wanna figure out how much you pay per road mile on your taxes on the county road? Not
Trade
much.
farm go up a little longer? Sure. Okay, they will.
So you talking about your appraisal?
Building repair,
It's not tax. Depends on the rate that's applied to the
We're
rate.
paying in off of the appraisal.
Well, this budget's gonna determine what you pay next. That's what we're dealing with here.
Okay, if we got any questions, we appreciate y'all.
One more thing I'd like to run by you guys. This year, well, in 2016 budget year, we will be getting ready to purchase or at least 2 more patrol vehicles for the 2017 year. So much like this year, when we finalize those vehicles, it'll be the same situation, just giving you a heads up when that time comes. So, and we increased our budget by $5,000 on vehicles for that reason.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To capital. And I can put, if you don't see any of those lines, I can pull them, because like I said, I have to sometimes just remember what is paid out of there and why. Every once in a while, it's a circumstance why it's over. There was some that had to be purchased.
I understand why things have to be purchased. Sometimes I don't understand the reason we got in the situation, and why we have to
Well, you
purchase.
have to, yeah.
Okay.
We heard from the DA, the JP, and county sheriff for the jail dispatch. And the sheriff's main office. We started this day with this process a little bit with the insurance presentation. Is there things that you want to ask? We need to go back up here and back up. Something else you want to discuss with her and or Gene? June and or.
June, we probably need to, I'd like to maybe hear what June's got. I don't know how we, one points on the budget.
But she's not really on
I
the.
understand, but I'm still saying I'd like to hear, so maybe it'd be better for us to.
Well,
You know what I'm
We're
saying?
in a budget workshop, we can bring up anything on that budget workshop that we want to bring up and talk about.
Yeah, probably like for
I
June.
can come back if it's not appropriate today, I can come back anytime.
I think it'd be proper to ask the Metro or June anything we want to ask them with regard to the budget in context of the budget. That's going to obviously be cost of insurance. We've already voted to solicit bids.
Bids are being opened when?
Oh, no.
July 27th.
Okay, thank you. I didn't remember. I knew it was later. We had given as much notice as we could this time because it seemed to be an issue with some.
The Metro.
So can you dumb this down for me, the Metro? So what are you gonna save us here? Dumb it down.
I wish I could give you an exact figure. I can't give you an exact figure. I don't want to go to market for you because it would hurt you.
Well, look, can I
You
ask you
need
a
one
question?
person going to market for you.
From the stats that you have from our last year's stuff, because you got those, right? Everything that we did last year. How much could you have saved us?
We're going to save you $70,000 in reinsurance premium. I know that.
That's.
Staying at $35,000
No, we would have moved you up because your specific stop loss deductible is too low. It should be 5% of your net paid claims. Your net paid claims $887,000. You could go to $40,000. It's hurt you being at 25,000, then you move to 35. You could go 40, 45, 50. You know. But like I said, moving deductibles around, anybody can look at that. I mean, for a long time, you've been buying too low, but where we really find a substantial cost savings many times is in that pharmacy. You've got some prescriptions now. Your plan's not protected from, there's a prescription that I know of, it's $1 million a year. It's not excluded in your contract. And you know what it's for? If you have a genetic condition where you can't process fat, you can eat french fries and take a pill. It'll only cost the county $1 million a year. You're not protected. So I think, in my mind, the decision is, are you willing, on a cost-neutral basis, no more, are you willing to take a chance of enhancing your benefit package without affecting the employees, bringing more to the table for what you're currently receiving? That's the question. It's not gonna cost you any more. And if you don't like it, you can fire me and go back to Jenny. She'll take it back.
She might not want us back.
She might not, but somebody will. But time is of the essence.
You mean if we jump our stop loss to 50,000 per employee, we're still gonna save $70,000?
In reinsurance.
But the
Reinsurance.
claims, the extra 5,000 or 10,000 per claim, if we have 10 people over
You
the
don't.
stop loss. We usually do.
Not that many.
No.
Get on
And did you
there
say that
sometimes.
you wanted to go up on the deductible?
If it were me, not your employee deductible.
That's what
Matter of
I'm talking
fact, no, not the employee
Stop
deductible.
loss.
Matter of fact, I have an IBM place that could even take your deductible back down to 500 on very minimum exposure. I know that
Or our
effectively how
employees
employees.
kiss us.
No, no, minimum
We're
increase.
right about that.
Minimum increase exposure. It's just an opportunity to experience something different is all I'm asking for. If you don't like it, you can go back, but I'd ask you to give me an opportunity. It's up to y'all. I don't want y'all to work with me if you're not comfortable, and I don't want Cheryl to work with me, and I don't want anybody to work with me if you're not comfortable. If you're not comfortable, don't hire me, because I want to work closely, I want to develop a relationship, and I want to show you what we can do. But I don't want you to hire me because you just think it's pie in the sky, or you feel like I know what we can do. I know what we do, and we do it well.
I'm all about saving money, but I'm all about good stuff too, to save money. You know what I'm saying? Just because you save money, you always make us great. Once you do that,
Increase in stop loss, lower the deductible.
Going the wrong direction. Is that managed?
It
Is that active health benefits managed?
No,
That does.
it depends on your risk level, right?
Right.
My car insurance deductible could be $200, but I'm a pretty safe driver. So I choose to save money on my premium and take a little more risk.
Sure. So if they don't buy $1,000 deductible, they don't have any answer. But when they do, they have $1,000 deductible. You know? See, a whole lot. I'm an insurance, I feel a whole lot like a bookie. You know, here's the option. What do you want?
Yeah.
You know?
What, in the counties that you service, what's the frequency that you interact with those counties?
I typically meet with my counties and all of my clients actually that have over 50 lives. They typically see me 4 times a year in person. Some of the high maintenance ones, maybe I see more. Especially first year relationships, right? Like you really don't trust me, you really don't know me. You think you do, you want to know that I'm telling you the truth. Maybe I need to see you once a month to start out with, and I can bring you your claims report so we can go over all that. I'm happy to do it. I live in Weatherford. I'm tickled to death to drive here. I'm typically driving 2.5 hours somewhere.
Would your service change anything here in our office, our HR office, thing that handles it?
That's up to them to decide. Like I said, if I asked Marcia, I said, if you weren't battling out for the employees trying to fight these ER doctors and different things, would you still have plenty to do? And she told me yes. But maybe she doesn't have a comfort, maybe she wants to go through Purple Card. I'm fine with that. We won't roll it out to the employees. We'll just have Marcia use it. The employees will never know. Employees can call just like they do now. But Marcia, instead of taking her time trying to fight it out, can call your patient advocate who is not located in India, but they are licensed agents located in Fort Worth, and they do speak English, and they can take on the battle. And then we report back to you what we're doing. Are they calling about medical claims, dental, vision? What are we doing?
That would be the nice part, because then you got a little,
You know what's happening.
a little more discreet.
So you're basically breaking our package up and shopping into the places that can perform at a better level at a cheaper cost.
What I
Managing those.
Yeah, what I would propose is because you're already out to bid for reinsurance and that's not a problem. We would step in and negotiate on your behalf still with your reinsurance. I would say that we would do an analysis on that. But also, I would take we would break your PBM out from your TPA and get a direct contract with the county, not with the TPA, what you have now for resources. Have your own contract with a PBM. Get your own plan savings. You get the rebates. I would shop your stop loss next year. Been with group resources a long time. I know Cheryl's real comfortable with them. We've got business with them. We have a great relationship with group resources, but there's other TPAs, so why not let them know that you're shopping that? Let's see what we can get on admin fees. Let's see what we can do on the PPO network. I mean, it's easy to do business as usual and just every year kind of, I know change is hard, but I don't want anybody to hire me if you don't want me. I'd like to work with you, but if you don't, if you want to stay where you are and keep doing what you're doing, I understand.
How would a prescription deal operate?
It would be completely invisible to your employees. They would see no change. The only difference would be, instead of group resources having a contract with the PBM that's in place now and them receiving the benefit from it, that would be broken out. They would no longer have any piece of that, and the county would have a direct contract with the PBM.
So you still have your deductible or figure?
It'd still be the same. I mean,
What's a PBM?
pharmacy benefit manager.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm using acronyms, I'm sorry. Pharmacy,
TPA.
third party
TPA, third party
administrator.
administrator.
Yeah. They're just not looking out for your best interest right now because it doesn't serve them well to do that. But if we do perform well, I would ask for 3% next year. But right now, I'm proposing cost neutral. Look, only if we perform well, and I'm leaving that ambiguous, right? I would think we would need to save you at least $100,000 or more for me to even ask for it. But we haven't increased our consulting fees on any of our counties in 4 years. You know what my hope would be? You guys go, that was the best decision we ever made, and we're gonna tell another county. We're gonna tell another county. Yeah, I don't want my name in mud.
Right.
How many of your 8 counties are self-insured counties and
I have a 50-life county that's self-insured, and they've always been, and they looked to moving fully insured, and it was just too expensive to make the change. I have another 3 of the 8, I guess, are self-insured. I have one wanting to go self-insured that we're looking this year to. We're doing an analysis to see if it would make sense for them. But remember this, either way, whether you're fully insured or whether you're self-insured, it's not a get-rich deal, right? It's about long-term management of what you can control. And I can just tell you, when you're fully insured, you can control anything. You're getting a premium increase and there's nothing you can do about it. But at least when you're self-insured, there are things you can do and there's controls you can put in place. When I've heard people say, oh, we were self-insured before and it was a disaster. Well, maybe it's because they didn't have that $1 million drug not covered. Maybe it's because they didn't have the proper reinsurance level in place. Maybe they didn't fund right? Like, we're always talk to our clients about setting aside reserves. It's just so important. On your good years, it's so easy to go, man, we saved $200,000 this year. We can give people raises. I would say protect that money. Start building some reserves. That doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen over time. You have to be disciplined about it. But it is easy when you're self-insured to go, yeah, man, you had a good year, and get a new patrol car. Please don't. Not with your insurance, you know, just earmark that money and protect it. You had asked questions about the company a while ago. I thought maybe I should tell you a little bit more. So we've been in business since 1996. I like to tell a story because it's a good story. We're individually owned still. We haven't been bought up by all the smaller firms getting bought by the big national firms.
Nobody wants you?
No, there have been plenty of offers. That's a great question. There have been plenty of offers, and Dawn Brinson's committed to holding the course. But she started in 1996. Actually, both of us worked together since 1989. Downtown Fort Worth Transport Life Insurance Company was around back in the day. Do you remember them?
You betcha.
So I worked there. Dawn's husband, Skip, worked there. Skip is our VP of compliance now. He's a self-funded guru.
Transport life costs at one time.
Exactly. So Dawn's role was to, if anybody was, she had to look for reasons to terminate people's insurance. It was an awful job back in the day. And you can imagine, especially people that are sick, they need it, and the insurance company was like, you find a reason to get rid of the policy.
There's only so much capacity.
So back in the day, the last phone call that she made to change her life, it was a woman who was dying of cancer, and her premium came in after midnight. It wasn't even at 24 hours late, but that was a reason to cancel her coverage. And Dawn was told, cancel her coverage. So Dawn called to cancel her coverage, and she said, "Do you realize you just told a dying woman I have no insurance?" So Dawn went to her dad. She cashed out her 401k, and her dad helped her little. She had $40,000 in her 401k. He was a financial planner, so she had a glass top desk with a brass bottom in the corner of his office and a phone. That was 1996. Today, Brinson Benefits has 3 offices. Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. We have 50 employees, and we have over 300 clients. It's a pretty good success story.
Say that.
Yeah, that day, yeah,
She's got it.
yeah, I think it's in her house somewhere. So y'all let me know, I mean, if I run to the ball or punt, I mean.
What does the court want to do tonight? We
Uh,
want to hear anything from June?
Sure. June, ready to give us anything?
June, you
We need this to be an open discussion.
Well, I mean, I think we need to wait and see what the renewals.
come on, it's hard to hear you way back there.
I agree, June, we'll probably need to see some numbers.
Exactly, see what they are and see what, how we can rearrange things in the numbers.
Sure.
So,
I agree.
and I know Julie will be more than happy to come out and throw some ideas out as well.
I think that's what we need to do.
I do like the idea.
Do you think there's a good way to?
That's a big idea in case you're off somewhere, especially.
Just like,
Well, I was not giving a number, we'll call me back.
once they just like, my dad, even if one way or another, it's kind of, everything, having both years.
That's their choice.
Just looking at it, well, here's the thing we got, we can't really answer like we can, because we're fixing to do a bunch open something up. I don't think they really ask her to answer anything, really. Would that be correct?
Well,
Do you see that?
if you got any specific questions that are relevant to the discussion here?
Do you think that fully insured is still an option?
I'm seeing if I've sent it out to 4 different companies to see what we get back, just to look at.
Well, I think that's the question we've got to answer here at the court first, is whether self-insurance is something we want to maintain, or what's the number for being fully insured, and then compare it back to the change in the program.
Right. And then we can always go back and I'll negotiate with Julie on some things too. The only thing is, instead of doing agent of record letters, broker of letters, consultants, or anything like that, I've always felt like that wasn't a fair fight. I think if they want to go through the process, the bidding process, and shopping it just like the rest of us do, I think that should be an option. Instead of just coming in and taking over a block of business that's in existence, not making any changes until later on.
If I could say something just in regard to that. The process that we took the judge through and Cheryl through and Marcia through and Commissioner Rogers through is the process that we use to win business. And this is why. We will not go out to bid for your insurance. We just won't do it. I would recommend that you choose who you want to carry that ball and let them run with it, because when you get multiple brokers in the market, then you get underwriters wondering what's going on. There's only so many fully insured carriers. We can get fully insured quotes for you too, but if Aetna's looking at it and Blue Cross is looking at it and Cigna's looking at it, we're all appointed with them. So who do they really negotiate with? That's why we won't bid for business. It's not in your best interest. It's not because we're not good at it and we don't want to. It's just that you won't get the most competitive quotes until you choose who you want to work with.
Even when they know that you're going out to the other carrier for a bid?
Yeah, because if we go out to, we'll be going to the same carriers, right? If my ideas haven't been something to make you question in your mind a strategic plan moving forward, then I simply don't, then I will just bow out.
This
I would
is more
just
than
go.
changing company, it's a changing plan, changing the way we do business with our health insurance.
Yeah, I'm not talking about moving you from your reinsurance carrier, HCC. I'm not talking about guaranteeing you that I can get you the best rate with a fully insured carrier. I'm talking about a strategy. And so if you're just looking at, well, what's the best bid every year, I can tell you, we're probably not a good fit. Because I'm about strategically, over the long term, controlling your cost.
What would happen if we did go with you guys? Hopefully nothing like that would ever happen, but somebody got cancer right now. And then when you took over, what would happen with all that?
There's no change.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's no change.
I'm insurance dogs, and you go to school.
Well, it is a complicated language to understand many times. There's acronyms that don't make sense to people, and there is a wonder of how would it be any different with you than with her? Is it going to affect our quotes? Is it going to affect our bids? And it's not. It's just simply selecting the best coach for your team. And it's about long-term strategy and cost control. What are we doing to control the cost? You can't control cancers, not really. Like I said, people can say, well, let's put in a wellness program, let's put in a tobacco cessation program, and everybody that tests positive for cocaine, they'll have to pay $50 more for their insurance. I mean, there's things like that you can do, but I'm talking about the less impact you can pass on to the employees. Let's bring the employees more benefit than what they're getting, and then on the back end, you receive the dollar savings. If you receive the dollar savings, then the employees don't get, maybe sometime down the road, they've got to pay $50 a month for their health insurance, or $100 a month for their health insurance. I'm sure you don't want to do that. I don't work with a county that does.
Okay, tell me one more time why you think we can go to the $45,000 level. What did you say that percentage was?
Typically, an appropriate stop loss level is 5 to 15% of net paid claims. Net paid claims. Last year, you ran at $887,000. This year, you're on track to do about the same. You've been buying a $25,000 specific stop loss deductible till last year. You finally went to $35,000. That's been costing you a lot of fixed cost in reinsurance premium.
Do we have numbers of actual people that use insurance? We have have like 105 covered or 102, something like that.
101,
How
I
many
believe.
101.
We have about 75 singles and about 26 families, I believe.
Part of those are retirees, so it's fixed.
Retirees.
We've actually had one retiree that had lots of claims. She came off first part of July or June, first part of June. And then we have another one that's gonna be coming off in December. But then
Does
we've
the
got
one coming
some,
off, is it really,
huh?
does the one coming off pretty high?
Well, but not as high as some of the active employees.
Yeah,
That's what insurance is for, if they need it,
that's right.
I know it's what it's for, but somebody's got to pay for it.
that's right.
But over the last years, if you go back and look at your renewals and stuff, there's a sheet in there that we presented that gave you the 40,000 and the 45,000.
We've always had the choice.
Yeah, we've always had that
We just-
choice.
There's not pretty exposure.
The stop
They've,
loss.
they've showed you historically,
Every
it
year
showed you
we show.
historically that where you could have taken that on and you haven't.
I guess in my opinion, why we have to take that on is when we elevate that, we extend our coverage or our claim responsibility until that insurance, that reinsurance kicks in. And I don't know, maybe we don't fully understand that, function, but
You
you're
don't
actually
have a-
saying
you
we
don't have a lot.
increase that enough that it'll lower our reinsurance cost enough that it'll be less, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Less.
And that would be my recommendation, like I said, that's a recommendation that I would make, because you're not even at 5%. You've been over purchasing insurance. So if you take it out of the big picture and you just think about it in terms of individual deductible, sometimes that's easier to relate to. I talk to a lot of counties who are fully insured, and they've had a $250 deductible for their employees forever and a day. And they feel like we're doing a great job to give their employees, such a low deductible because they're lower paid employees. But not everybody uses the insurance. They have been overpaying a fixed premium for that $250 deductible forever and ever and ever, and nobody's brought them any strategies. So here's a great strategy.
That's where individuals are, they look at individual deductibles, we look at stop loss.
That's exactly right, yes, sir. So I would say, in the case of fully insured, let's buy a $1,500 deductible. 25 to 40% of your people are going to meet $250 deductible. The money we save on the premium that are left, put it in a pot, and then pay back for the people who need it. Great saving strategy. It's about strategies. It's not just, to me, tactical. Tactical is, let's change our stop loss deductible. Okay, that's tactical. Every single year you can look at that. I'm talking about strategically, over time, long-term savings. What can we do to control our costs?
We probably have some employees that never even
More
go
off
off.
Use there are records.
So you can save on that.
I'm sorry.
There are records show how many people have met the deductible for that year.
Even though
We
they're.
can pull it up.
Sure.
But what she's
Somebody's
saying,
got to.
but what she's saying.
I mean, I had,
don't use it, you can save
like
money.
myself, I went to the doctor last week,
Then
twice
we-
for an office call, and I
No, we can't. Yeah.
If everybody here didn't
You
use
can get
insurance,
claims runs every month that show you how many employees have met their deductible, where people are on their out-of-pocket. That's what I'm talking about, interpreting, reporting for you guys on a monthly basis, at least quarterly, so you can see how your claims run. Well, you should.
I mean, I could show it to you, but is it gonna matter if, somebody else is gonna have to come back in and go? You can't stop it.
No, you can't stop it, but what it will allow you to do is go, well, we've only got
That's because.
10% of our people or 15% of our people that are meeting their individual deductible. Does it make sense then if we increase our stop loss level or we keep it where it is? Right? You've got to be able to know exactly what's going on with your plan to be able to make the big decisions like reinsurance.
And we usually look at, like I say, we look at how many have gone over, okay, are these people, just like we're doing now, are these people still on here, are they still gonna be say, rented?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A higher risk. There's no good way to say it.
But we are watching it month by month. I mean, we get the report, and we're going over it, we talk about it. Who's here, I run the spreadsheet, I keep up with who's getting closed,
And
who's.
we just did that on our own, so.
And we
Yeah,
did that.
you're doing a lot of work.
We did that on our own.
Yeah, you're doing a
So
lot
That's
of
because I
work.
wanted
You're doing a lot of work.
to, didn't have to.
I mean,
To
that's
be-
for us to be able to see where we're at, how much money
How to
we need,
budget.
and how to budget. That's really a budgetary tool for them, keeping it that way. It's kind of
You
how.
are, you are doing a lot of work yourself.
So it's a being 70%.
I don't know if you heard anything this morning, from the three people we heard from on their budgets, 2 of the 3 are spending more money, or asking to spend more money.
I know, I
So
will
this-
get here to that part.
So this is an important consideration on our part. You know, to look at that bottom line situation.
How we just kinda got started.
And we just got started, yes.
I know.
We did an analysis that I provided to the judge, and Cheryl and Marcia saw it. It was just one that I pulled. We have a complete analysis on the counties that we've worked with as a whole, all of them. We did that last month for that same executive director to report back to his county judges. But since 2010, we have saved the counties that we represent collectively $8 million
I'd like to see that analysis.
with little employee effect. They haven't seen the full analysis. They saw the one, okay. So there's one, yes, there's one that they saw, that was another county that we served that's self-insured, that they had a bundled approach, just like y'all now. They had everything bundled in with their TPA. And we went in and started pulling out those pieces. We did not change their TPA, their third-party administrator. Okay, they stayed with Group Resources or whoever it was. But we took over and got a direct contract with the county with their pharmacy. And their reinsurance and their life insurance was also being marketed by the third-party administrator. We took the commissions out of that, so there was nothing for the third-party administrator to make on that. We took it over. And since 2012, I believe they become a client. Their overall net savings with us, and this is not changing their medical plan design, okay? Not changing it. Even after us getting paid, I believe the net savings, is that 500 something thousand, Judge? 500 or?
So you charge less than their third-party administrator?
We're not a third-party administrator.
They're a consultant.
We're a consultant.
So you pick up, when we save on this hand, we're paying with the part we save over here?
No, it's cost neutral. So whatever Salyer's insurance is getting paid right now, we would propose to work for the same fee.
So
It's
we're not,
cost neutral. It costs you no more.
oh, but we're not saving on there. It's the same across the board. It's just you say you're gonna save us on the claims and all the other,
Right.
but
Bringing in something like
it's
how
not saving anything up front.
No.
Same.
Cost neutral. Yes.
Currently, we're not seeing any monetary outflow to Salyer's insurance company because it comes through commissions and things from the reinsurer and the third-party administrator, I guess, which would be built into our fixed cost.
Right.
So we don't see any of that, and that's, I
And
think
that
that's where the
number is-
measure is saying that's gonna offset would be in that cost, that fixed
Isn't
cost.
that about 36,000 a year on your reinsurance?
Well, so
Somewhere around there.
I'm just a little confused. We cut her out. Where are we gonna get the bids from if they're not gonna go out for bids?
We take over immediately as your acting agent of record. We interpret all the bids. We negotiate on the county's behalf. I wouldn't recommend that you go back out. I would just recommend that we do the analysis on what's coming in.
Well, she's going out for the new year. So you're saying you take the numbers from last year?
No, this year. The ad's in the paper now.
So your turnout is out.
It's just a renegotiation more sharper than this one. More management. Yeah.
Active management, yes. aggressively. I wouldn't recommend that you do a full TPA evaluation every year. You know, no way. That wouldn't be good, but every 3 years, you should be evaluating your TPA, and you should be looking at your PPO network. And to my knowledge, I don't think that's been evaluated in
Every year.
the TPA. You go out to bid for a TPA?
We've had people come in every year with different TPAs. The funding was very close to the same. The PPO, the reason why we have to go with Health Smart is because there's a lot of people that go to West Texas. Well, Health Smart is the best network in West Texas, Wichita Falls, because once you get past the Weatherford area, the other networks, the Aetna networks, all the other networks don't work. And we also do have the RAT plan. It may not be in the plan document, but if you go back and look at your EOBs and stuff, even if they're out of network, and it'll show that it's paid at 80% or 100%, whatever. What gets people in trouble is they balance bill. So if that individual gets out of network and that doctor says, no, y'all have to pay me what I bill, then they can balance bill.
Trust me, they did that to me. I know what you're
I
saying.
think yours into that too.
Why is it in the plan
Oh,
document?
I-
I'm just curious.
It is in the plan document, like this year's,
I looked at it, I didn't see it.
well, it's in there. It's in there because you can talk with them and ask them how the claims are paid. And it does have the wrap. We also have a problem with the ambulance services. And that's because none of the ambulance services, there's only one per county, they're not in competition, so they do not choose to participate in any PPOs.
So what we gotta do on that?
And as far as the emergency room position, they're in negotiation with the hospital right now because it's how the hospital contracted. That's why y'all keep having the problem over and over with ER.
If they're gonna change that when their new contract comes up, that was something that was overlooked by the previous administrator. And, yeah, so they're renegotiating, and they said, you know, they may have to change to a different provider for the emergency room positions, but they would because it's through their contract.
But didn't you say that you needed, like, the ambulance services out of network, like she's saying, that y'all would take over for us and come out of for us? Instead of getting a $10,000 bill, make it a $4,000.
Basically taking some of the work that Marcia's been doing off of her, but.
At least working with her.
Actually, Marcia had to do something.
The thing about it is, the purple card sounds great, and group and really June herself's been good to help, but the people are still gonna come in and sit down in front of the desk and lay the paperwork. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I understand that
Because
it
I've
is.
said, you know, you can pull your own ELBs up, and I've did a lot of educating on that, trying to get some of them bring it in. Well, I'd rather you go ahead and do it. Okay.
But you can set up, the way it's set up now, you have direct access to your own account through group resources. You just have to log in and set up an account.
You can do that with any insurance company, but it's just like with my stepson in EMS. Quite frankly, had I not had an advocate to battle on my behalf, interestingly enough, and you'll appreciate this because you're in insurance. So Tanner went in the hospital August the 28th, and he stayed till September the 2nd. Our plan year was renewing September the 1, and we were changing carriers at Brinson, and he was coming off his dad's insurance and going on to mine.
Oh, wow, yes.
Can you imagine it being any worse? So I just handed over the purple card, they handled everything, and finally at the end of the day, once the insurance company, because for, you know, till 11:59 or 12 o'clock on August the 31st, Tanner was covered under one plan, but at 12:01, he was covered under another plan, and it was just trying to get people, the insurance carrier to take responsibility for their portion, and then ultimately, what do I owe? But like I said, you know, if things have been working well for y'all, don't consider a change.
Sometimes yes and sometimes no.
what's your pleasure on this, to further consider it, take any action? Affirmative or
I
negative?
still think we need to see the numbers on
Is that a table for further review?
Yes. Table.
Well, we need to be able to reinforce what you're saying. People we work hard to.
Supposed to put Metro 5, 7,
When you over here yesterday.
and this is to table.
Here's the deal, you've got to decide who you want to
For
represent
review.
in the market. And that needs to happen within the next few days.
All in favor? Carried.
Did y'all wanna work on budget anymore this afternoon, or? Well,
We've got another
I-
meeting stuff next month.
Okay, well, the judge asked Ann and I to sit down and look at revenues, and we kind of sat down and looked at that, and criminal justice and jury, and I have copies of all those. Do you want them, or do you want to wait till next week? We sat down and did what, you asked, that we go over those revenues and the jury and the criminal justice.
You're gonna be
And
back.
so I've made copies of everything that I've written, that we've written down and went over, and I didn't know if y'all want those copies, you wanna wait till next time and just, I mean, I don't know if it's something you wanna go over, you wanna take and look at and see if you agree, or.
My TV is the,
Yes, I did, Megan.
Y'all want to go through any revenues, Cheryl?
I mean, I can give it to you and you can take it and look at it.
And put up revenues on the rest of the revenues. Still haven't heard anything from Luke. They're still working on prices.
I did say that,
By the way, we did get,
You did a card
we did get done.
I wanted to get my language.
Yeah, here, sorry about it. It's not said. Another card.
Did they, ask them about his judge's decision, did they decide?
Oh, this is what you said, you just made a cost neutral decision.
And
And
we
if they
don't
don't
know,
know,
isn't that,
like their fee is, county judges, probably more like 40,000.
Yes, it is.
okay, I didn't put that, I have a question mark.
We don't know.
Yeah, I tried to know they don't mind.
I think you have it.
Well, it's a wash line.
Yeah, it'll be here, but it'll be there.
This is a whole lot of things
Yeah, I think that this happened Friday.
Kroger, you're talking to me.
And then you see me smiling, I knew where you were going with it. You're right.
Take things
So
in.
if y'all wanna
See,
leave it there,
come on,
I'm
I mean,
here with
you're
you
right.
next week. I got another tape.
Well, yeah, no, my work cell,
Didn't.
let me tell you, they shut me off at work because I did lose my phone for a few days.
817.
Yes.
629.
Yeah,
This is just some stuff that we worked out.
We certainly need to discuss it next Monday.
Anybody has any questions? Y'all can call me through.
How about that cost of council process?
Good.
Sure.
So it's cost neutral, and we're giving you a guarantee.
Judge asked Ed and I to sit down and look at revenues, and we did on some.
Oh, okay.
You could do a copy too, I mean,
You know how to.
it's not
Yeah.
under.
That's your answer.
Yes, yes.
I know-
Okay.
I know how you communicate. It's Demetra.
What do you go by?
Demetra.
D?
People used to
Your
always.
story there?
Yeah, I got a story. So I was born in 1967. LSD was very prolific back then. My mother was a taker. No, I'm just kidding. She knew I-
I'm born for
and she knew I said that, she'd die.
We're on camera, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's go shut that off. Yeah, just joking, Mom. No, I was the first child, and she wanted a different name for me. And, my dad would come home from work, and he wanted to name me Cindy, and Mom was like, that's not, he wanted to name me Angie, he wanted to name me Tracy, which lots of people from that era are named. So anyway, Mother's like, no, it's gotta be something different. So, all the way up to the time I was born, I still had my name. And that night, I had no name. And the next day, the doctor came in, you know, what's this baby's name? I had no name. So, you know, after 3 days, you get released, I guess, or at least back then. And the doctor came in on the second day, and he said, you know, this baby is just gonna live here, I guess, because if you don't give her a name, Mom said, she'll have a name by the morning. You come in the morning, she'll have a name. So, that night, my mother had a dream. My mother's never been to the beach in her life. I'm not even sure to this day if she's ever been to a beach, but she dreamed she was walking on a beach. And this angel appeared to her and said, name your baby girl Demetra. The mother said, how do you spell that? And she wrote it in the sand, Demetra. And Mom woke up, turned on her light, she had a little notepad by the bed. She wrote it down. The next morning, the doctor came in and said, well, what'd you name that baby? And Mom said, this. He said, how do you say it? She said, Demetra. He said, well, it looks like Demetra. She said, well, it's supposed to be Demetra. So, Mom would never let anybody call me anything short, or, because she said, the angel said Demetra.
So your husband will call you D, Demetra.
She calls me Demetra.
Is there another name?
Bulldog.
Bulldog.
He calls me Bulldog. I've been called Bulldog since junior high. But that's because I wrestled with the boys. I was, you know, I was a tomboy. And,
That's kind of a Saratoga kind of thing, isn't it, Barracuda?
Unless they have a female version of the bulldog.
Anybody want to
Yeah.
adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, motion to adjourn? Yeah. Second?
okay, thank y'all. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll just wait to hear from you, and I wish you the best of luck.
Okay.
I do.
Who else?
You live in Weatherford?
Live in Weatherford? Yes.
Oh, I live in Weatherford, yes, I live in Weatherford.
How long you lived there?
I've lived in Weatherford since 2002. Yeah, I love it there.
It's grown a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I've grown a bunch. I've got 10 acres there, and I'm in the Alito School District. I didn't realize when I bought my place, that was kind of a great decision.
You're on the east end.
You know where the Love's truck stop is, off Interstate 20?
Yeah.
So if you go right behind that, about a mile and a half down, I'm on the right.
That's the Alito School District?
I am right on the border.
Wow.
I'm Alito School District, Hudson Oaks Fire Department, because my manure pile caught on fire and they come out. So I didn't even know then. Some neighbor reported my manure pile, a horse pile on fire. It was smoldering.
You kind of got to watch when you go through that snows.
That smoke?
Well, like,
They're one of my clients.
I
Just saying.
can't believe that's, I wonder if they look so good. We got some of those Weatherford kids over there.
Yeah, that's right.
Alito.
Thank y'all.
They're awesome in every sport they play.
You know what? There's so much pressure on the kids there too. I mean, if you participate in a sport in Alito, you better damn be good, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
They
you're
are.
expected, those coaches run those kids like college kids, you know?
It's not just, I mean, the
My
football
nephew's a
team's
kicker
awesome.
on the football team.
Oh, really? I mean, the football team's awesome, the basketball, baseball, track.
You beat them and Carroll like my senior year.
You don't know Levy Johnson? do you?
Really?
Of course, both of them class two.
He's in the league.
he'll be like.
It lets you do
But he's a building
I
contractor.
didn't how fast
Oh,
this city ground.
He's got his stepdaughter and a twin girl.
Yeah, we played.
Oh, okay, they play sports.
Yeah, they did everything.
Basketball, my niece probably knows them. She plays basketball.
I think they probably do.
And I did
Yeah, we
that.
played.
He's big tall, right? He graduated from football.
Oh,
They were
okay.
about that year.
Lots of old jocks and stuff over there. Because it's a
I played
sports
six, they were playing us that first year of their football.
Bye, y'all.
It was 73 to nothing.
And
Did y'all beat
That,
Carroll?
8:30 to
the trailer's as good as
8:30.
mine. Yeah, I think myself. Call him. We'll get
Yeah, I think that kid named Wayne Moffett.
But just send a holder for
That
it.
was a big back for them.
That's a, he'll do what he said he'll do.
What impressed me was their
I bought several trailers off him.
offensive line.
I've had good experience over there.
They're all treated
But yeah, that's what he's supposed to play.
Okay.
Keep playing.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning at the
8:30.
cemetery?
8:30 in the morning.
Stacy gonna be there with his crew?
Yep.
What do you need from me?
Well, probably not.
My front end loader or my skid steer?
Bring those.
You know what? Hey,
If you want to bring both of them, bring
yeah,
both
the
of them.
skid steer.
Bring them up.
We're gonna need to put
Have
those.
you got
Metal
a,
welder.
have you got a, tombstones back out? Have you got a, choker strap? That's not steel, it's cloth type.
Yeah.
Bring it, cause we used it to pick them up with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't have that good stuff.
Got one.
And trust me, I tried with Jimmy the other day. I think he laughed at me.
I bet they're pretty brittle, aren't they?
They're not,
No, I pulled something out.
they're not brittle, they're just
They're
heavy.
heavy.
Well, did it?
They're just heavy.
They're extremely.
There's a pile
I
of
just
them
got
over
that
there.
repaired, I don't want to tear it loose again.
The problem is, there's a pile of them over there, on the corner over there, just, whenever the inmates was mowing that, they thought
They just pulled them, stacked them
they
out.
thought it was a rock.
Yeah, so there's no telling where, that's what I'm
And
saying.
there's a tree over there with a whole bunch of them stacked around it that they thought was just rocks. This is
They belong in a grave somewhere.
They're a grave marker.
Where is the grave?
It's there somewhere. There's one there that's,
Well, I'll call Dan McMillan, see if he's got that.
there's a grave that's actually sunk right there that you can walk over to that does not have a marker on it at all.
Does it need to have some dirt put in on it, a marker put on it?
It probably wouldn't hurt to have a little dirt put in there.
Yeah.
Make it easier to mow.
Yeah.
Their coffin is collapsed.
I got 20 more, I mean, nothing work for you.
Huh?
I'm like, oh, Stacy got.
So tomorrow, are y'all actually gonna tear the old fence out?
What we're gonna do is instead of tearing it all out at one time, we're just gonna do it section at a time. So when we leave that day, it kinda still won't be you get going in there, tearing anything out. Well, all we're gonna do is what we think we can get done in a day's time.
I think we're gonna start on that side right when you come in too, where it's just pushed down.
That's the east and west side.
Yeah.
We're gonna start on.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm thinking of is, if it's possible, with enough equipment that we'll have out there,
What you got?
if we get a side down that we can't completely finish, maybe we just get the top row level, not the rods. What we can do is just take a lot of our equipment up
Right.
Well,
to keep each other in.
yeah.
So
Trailers.
Right.
we can do it that way.
Backhoes, whatever.
Okay.
Alright, I just have to send it to you guys.
And then quarter.
Get it going, road over like this.
We'll keep them busy, won't we, Jimmy?
Yep. We'll keep it busy. Send one of them from well, that's the main thing.
Do you give us Philip? That's the only one I know from you.
Yeah, you sure it's a, oh,
Send
okay.
the welder, the
I'll
welder,
ask him that.
the rods, something's gonna be wrong. It's not him.
Not
That's
him?
where the cutting torch was Thursday. The cutting torch, and then we're gonna catch the grass on fire, and then the pipe. Then it was the striker, and
You know what? All that stuff can be fixed. You know,
We'll have plenty of spotters. There won't be much of a fire.
Big red trucks.
What's gonna be just
we
sand?
got enough equipment there, we can't keep the fire locked off of it.
We gotta quit. Yeah. I'll
yeah,
retire.
they were on Thursday.
All righty. Thank you. I'll see you gentlemen tomorrow.
Or at least you, Jimmy.
I got that 88 right there south of Allen.
Yes, sir.
And Carl Craig, you know him?
Yes, sir.
Just the other day, he's gonna build, he'll drill a third well on it. Got to some range for the damages and the, now you're drilling a disposal though. That's not the same thing in a way.
According to the railroad commission, it is. It'll
Should
be,
he be bringing trucks in and off my head?
it'll be the same depth as if it's the shallow leaks,
So
right?
900 feet.
It'll be the shallow leaks, right?
Right.
It's gonna be the same depth as his other wells are.
Disposal well, does that mean that he's gonna be bringing trucks in there and disposing?
No, sir, no, sir. He'll be taking the water that his well at least makes, and putting it right back in the same formation. All he's trying to do is get secondary recovery. That's his main goal.
So it's not gonna do any more damage to my property than what's,
Just what he does on that location.
it'll be his own well from those other two wells that he's gonna re-inject into that well?
He'll do that, that's right.
See, right now, there's a line run through a culvert going across the road, and they're handling the water across the road. Which is,
Because of that,
yep,
But if he can put it in.
down there at that drop,
yeah, that big culvert.
If he can put it in that well there and increase his production, it's
not the flood.
between the